Good morning, every one of you. Let me let the Discord know. We are live. The host will be here soon. Let the Discord know. Boom. Good morning. Warming up the hands. Oh, things are warming up here in Phoenix. What's up, Lego? Tasty Lobster, only the tastiest lobster. Erica, B. Wood, Kyle, Melissa, Fire and Iron, Dan, Joyful. Wasn't me. Leanna. Good oh, damn, what is this? I meant to get a water. I got a cucumber lime water. Oh. High roller today. Bougie as shit. Good morning, Felice.
Top of the morning to you.
Hello, Governor.
Just shut it.
I like top of the morning. It's very not it's
Thanks,
non-committal.
Bender.
It's like you're not committing yet to like a energy level. I like that. My energy level's high. You know what I had prepared? You know how I just prepared the last 5 minutes?
You.
I watched the clip from Straight Outta Compton 2 times where Ice Cube drops no Vaseline, and so now I'm ready to go. That's how I get ready to talk about politics. Weird day. For you that are all just joining, if you could help us out, hit that like button and hit the share button. I don't know. I can't read Felice's tone, but I can read what she put together for the show today. And just the sheer act of going through the information that you've gone through to prepare today's show, I imagine you have to be just emotionally exhausted.
Are you asking if I
Yeah.
lost faith in humanity?
The fuck is going on in this country?
I don't know.
What
I
is
can't
going
do it.
on?
I don't even want to even talk about it out loud.
We could just talk about our feelings today instead.
We should just do a therapy session.
I was putting together.
We should get a therapist to come in one day and try to fix us. See if
I could check with
we
my
can make
therapist.
any progress in 3.5 hours.
I could check with my
Oh,
therapist.
I don't want someone that really knows me to come in. Oh, God, no.
She's exasperated. She doesn't know what to do at this point. She like every time we talk, she's like, I don't know. It sounds rough. Like she doesn't have anything for me. She's just like, well, you know what to do. And I think we've run out of options. So, luckily,
that's definitely a good show idea. We'll just get a therapist, like a TikTok therapist, to come on and just try to it's probably better to go with just a psychic. Yeah, we probably need like supernatural type of intervention at this point.
We can wait. What about my spiritual leader? She can come do a reading on you. She's gonna talk.
You know what I've noticed about us?
What?
By Thursday, and it's not even Thursday night, it's like by Thursday though, like pretty much we are barely hanging on. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I was thinking about that with the text this morning. On Monday, we're like, let's do this. It's gonna be a great week.
Yeah.
We're organized. We have a meeting. On Thursday, we're like, should we just go like on it? I'm trying to use the right words, like a violent rampage.
Career change.
Maybe tonight we go out and rob a liquor store. By Thursday, the texts are completely unhinged. There's some ideas.
I'm ending up under an underpass tonight for sure. I can feel it already. I haven't even made it to noon. I'm already about to cry. Rage. One or the other.
Elevated for
I
a
would
Thursday
love to watch
morning.
you scream at someone. Guys, tap the screen. Let's get to 10K. Share the live. We would love to talk to someone. What is your question? Why are you afraid?
Yeah, just like in general. Like, what makes you afraid?
What scares you, MAGA? What's keeping you up at night? What is your worst fear? Can you guys talk to us about that?
Yeah, I would like to know.
Airwolf. RTP screams? What? I know. I'm going to need a hearing aid soon.
Oh, because it's RTP talks. That's not bad. That's not bad.
RTP
I get it
screams.
now.
Is that what the joke was? I didn't get it.
Yeah.
You just said that.
two names,
That's what
Joe
is what it
Biden.
should be.
What is Airwolf? Is Airwolf? I can't tell if Airwolf is on our side or is
Get up here,
opposition.
Airwolf. You seem like you're funny and possibly opposition.
RTP. RTP whispers.
That's what we should do. If we ever have a bad day, we'll just turn this into like 3.5 hours of ASMR,
We have an
like
ASMR
political.
person. They create ASMR content. I'm trying to remember their name now. Um, but they're here sometimes. I'll have to look at something ASMR.
Political ASMR.
Or would that be like counting ballots like silently?
Yeah. Election interference. Election interference.
For Joe Biden.
Raise your hand if there was election interference.
This appears to be a hanging Chad. Hanging Chad.
RTP, your sequel channel needs to be RTP Screams. Let's just make it happen.
That's my normal channel. That's just what happens
Yeah.
with David. I was driving home yesterday, or not driving home, driving to pick up my daughter
I
yesterday.
had such a headache after you and David yesterday, just screaming for an hour and 45 minutes.
yeah. Let me actually go back. I wasn't driving to pick up my daughter. I was going to see her Christmas recital. She goes to, I found out yesterday, a Methodist preschool. I didn't know what
Talked about that.
denomination.
Do you
Yeah.
remember we talked about the Methodist churches breaking apart because half of them don't like the LGBTQs?
And I had this thought in my head, and I can't get it out of my head that maybe David is like an actual paid provocateur. Like, I listen. Hold on. I know you're muted, by the way, Felice, but I know that everybody else.
I said that from the beginning. The first day I met David, my comment was to him after arguing with him for 2 hours. I was just like, the only thing I can't figure out is if you're a paid actor.
The only thing is like I do know for sure of some paid actors on this channel, and he can say it until he's blue in the face. But I've caught him in it. He's laughed at it. There's two people. One is Love Fixes, definitely a paid provocateur, definitely pays people to be provocative, and he knows that. And the second one is Guy Fawkes. Both of them are definitely paid provocateurs. Both of
Yes.
them. There's no
I had Guy
question.
Fawkes on my live yesterday.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and you can get him, you can back him into a corner eventually. Like if you get him in a good mood, you can back him and you're like, just be honest. Like, who is paying you to pay people? And they're like, I'm not. Both of them have been like, I'm not gonna talk about that. But they both like David, you can't get into that corner. So I've always just thought, no, he's legit. This is really who he is. But yesterday I was thinking about the face he made at one point when I was like, when he's talking and I yell David, which drives me nuts that he gets me to do that. And I saw his face and he just had this little smile on his face. I was like, motherfucker, that face has been in my head since yesterday. Like, did this guy, I'm so mad that he triggered me. And then also I'm like, maybe he's a secret genius and I didn't know it all along. It's driving me nuts.
RTP, do I sense a
Listen,
business opportunity? You could put his
I,
face on the t-shirts.
yeah, Jake, take care of it.
no, he would like that. That's the thing. Like, the thing about that is David would absolutely love that. Like, it would just make his day if we did that. No, I think the thing about you and David that I noticed, like yesterday when you guys were screaming, I was like, this is my favorite sport to watch, especially when I have a front row seat, is because you guys are very alike. You guys both have severe, life crippling ADHD. And then
So bad. So bad.
and and then neither one of you is listening to the other one, just screaming for who could talk louder and louder and louder and louder. I mean, like the difference is just like you make coherent points, like obviously.
Thank
But I
you.
think that David definitely sees that you and him are the same. David thinks that he's making the same type of coherent points. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
So I draw a parallel with David to golf. Golf is a weird sport in that like when you play with your friends, there's a handicap system. And so it makes the game fair. So no matter how bad you are at golf, you can play against somebody that's really good and you can beat them. So like if somebody's really bad, like so my handicap is a +2, meaning like if Yeah, so like if you're a 2 handicap and I'm a +2, there's 4 strokes in between. So I have to give you 4 shots, 4 extra shots you get. But you could have like I remember when I first joined at this golf course, there was this guy. His name was Bill Denny, the greatest man I ever met in my entire life. Bill Denny was 4'9", maybe 4'10". He was actively running a Ponzi scheme that had been covered on 60 Minutes, or maybe no Dateline, one of those. It had been
Sounds
covered
like a
that
horse jockey.
yeah, he was running this Ponzi scheme. He had been caught, but he was only going after like old people, so they never figured it out. So he just kept running this grift. He would go out and he would do these presentations, and he would tell the worst jokes you've ever heard in your life. None of them made sense. They were all attempts at being racist, but he couldn't even like get his racism right. He was married, but his wife, I believe, was bedridden, so he just had like 3 hookers, sex workers. There we go. Sorry, that would rotate the days of the week, and they would just show up at the golf course sometimes, but like hit on they would like try and solicit business from other people. And then Bill Denny during COVID. Bill Denny got a sore throat, and we're like, "Hey, dude, you have COVID." And then, like 3 weeks later, Bill Denny was gone, and he like.
That is the worst story. Why are you telling me this?
Hold on. But the first,
You want to bring the mood down.
no, it's fine.
And he died.
Listen, this guy was a scumbag. This is like this is not much different than when like Henry Kissinger died. We should all be happy this man is no longer in the world. He was scamming senior citizens and using that to pay for all sorts of things. But Bill Denny was a 32 handicap, meaning on some holes, like almost all holes, he got 2 extra shots. And I had to play him in a tournament. And I lost barely. I played the best I could possibly play. He shot like 3 trillion, but he won because of the handicaps. And then we had to go back in. It was the semifinals, so everybody was in there. And I had to listen to this guy who I just beat by 31 shots talk shit like he was better at golf than me. And that's what it feels like debating David, because Bill Denny's like, the playing field just gets leveled. It's whoever says the most words, that's who wins. Whoever at the end of this says the most words, that's who wins. And I'm pretty sure that's the game David's playing while I'm debating, and so that's why I made that comparison. Rest in peace, Bill Denny, by the way. Rest in peace.
Now. I'd just like to mention, RTP, you're getting props for your +2 handicaps right now. Thank
you. I put a lot of work went into that for no reason. There was no reason other than I'm a psycho. There's 100% chance. I was talking to my ex about this last night. I can only do like one thing. Part of ADHD is I can only do like I can only be interested in one thing at a time. So when I do something, I'm all in. And that's what happened with golf. And then I know like 10 years from now, my body's going to be in too much pain for golf. So I'm just going to get super into gardening. And you guys will see me. I'll probably start like a YouTube gardening show in my 50s. And my garden will be like 12 acres. And the show will never be on time. It won't be edited or uploaded in a timely manner. It'll be but I'll still do it every single day. Because
will it be broadcast on Fox News?
Oh, that'd be nice. That's a good way. That's a good way to transition out of this. Police. So,
I can barely keep a plant alive to save my life. I was once
RTP
told by my
garden
therapist
happening.
I should not date anyone else until I can keep a plant alive for a year.
All right, Airwolf, we're going to drop in. We're going to get to stories.
Sure.
Thanks for coming up.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I believe that was the first time we had Airwolf. Yeah, RTP on HGTV. Listen, get me that contract. I'll sign it tomorrow. I'm out of here. Because I don't know what the fuck is going on, police. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I do. The world's... it just doesn't... Between America Fest, the Trump rallies, the cognitive dissonance that's going on. If you stay too long in MAGA world, you know what I mean? You start questioning your reality. You won't have a job next November. Thank you, Josh. That's so kind of you. What does that even mean?
What did Josh say?
You won't have a job next November.
We don't have jobs now, bitch. What are you talking about? We're on TikTok. You think we have jobs? Yeah, it'll be the same. We'll still be doing this. We'll be talking about gardening though, Josh. So take that.
Don't worry about us, Josh.
Um, I'm making a video. I'm getting the clips together, but just like as part of the delusion, I didn't put it up there. I was gonna not do it, but let me just start off the delusion. I told you guys about Colby Covington this last weekend, right? The MAGA fighter that.
Oh yeah, that was
he
last
just,
week.
and then
sometime.
Trump like got out. Well, there's the MAGA fighter that got knocked out, but then there's also the MAGA fighter that was fighting for the title and he got dusted. Well, here's him on Jesse Waters yesterday.
Are you serious?
Dead
Oh
serious.
my god.
More total strikes, same amount to the head. You were in control much
5
longer
minutes
than he
more
was.
control time.
I mean, I didn't see the fight, and I'm sorry, but I couldn't make it. But I mean, it looks like you won on paper. Do you think now that you're a Trump supporter outwardly, this cost you fights?
I do believe that. I think they stacked the deck against us because they don't want we, the people, to have control of this country again. And that's what Trump stands for. He stands for democracy. He stands for freedom. So they're going to do everything they can to keep us down, from shadow banning us online, even if we're saying the truth. They're not going to let us, they're going to make us censored, not let the people see that. If it's in a judging position in a fight or any type of athletic sporting event, they're going to stack the deck against us. So it's a sad time in our country, but, we the people, we need to rise up, and we can't let this keep us down.
Okay, let's talk about this.
Isn't everybody in the UFC pretty much a conservative? Like, is it everyone that runs the organization pretty much a conservative? Isn't it just like an offshoot of? Isn't it like the sport, the national pastime of MAGA? So what is this man talking about?
Well, let's keep in mind that Donald Trump was ringside for this fight. Donald Trump was, and he was brought ringside, as he has the last like 4 times. He was walked in with his good friend Dana White, who is the president of the UFC. Dana White openly like mocks Joe Biden. There was a fighter that ended his fight with "Let's go Brandon," and the crowd went crazy. UFC is so pro-Trump. Every time he walks in, everybody gets he gets a standing ovation. Colby Covington lost 49-46 on every card, meaning he won 1 out of the 4 rounds. And a couple people said 0 rounds. Dana White, the president of the UFC, and Donald Trump's really good friend said Colby Covington is terrible. That was a terrible fight. He can't be fighting for titles anymore. He took 2 years off and he looked terrible. Everybody in MMA says Colby Covington lost that fight. Even Colby Covington, the night of the fight, said, I lost that fight. But this is just proof that all of these people are grifters. Because in a moment of clarity, he was like, yeah, I lost. There's no excuses. And then he's like, wait a minute. I can grift off this. I can get attention. And Jesse Waters, who I appreciate it, said he couldn't make it to the fight. Jesse Waters was not invited. Jesse Waters isn't even near the cool table of Republicans. He's like number 10,000 on the list of people. Even with a primetime spot, nobody wants to hang out with Jesse Waters. But this is that's what I woke up to today. Colby Covington saying that the entire UFC and the judges are against him. Yeah, cool.
Looking at the total strikes
Sorry.
here.
Whoops,
That's like a tenet of like authoritarian strongman. Like you can never be wrong. You never lose. It's just a conspiracy against you. It's like that's if you
Let me tell you-
understand the pathology of narcissism, like it just makes sense.
And-
That's the narrative.
Here's more about Colby Covington. Colby Covington was not a trash-talking fighter. He was a boring fighter. And then he was going to be cut from the UFC. So he called out a guy named Damian Maia, who's a Brazilian, really popular. He went to Brazil. He fought Damian Maia. His contract was up. He beat Damian Maia in a fairly boring fight. So he knew he needed to get attention. He got on the mic. He said, Brazil, you're a dump. All you filthy animals suck. And that's when he got attention. And then, because he's not very bright and he couldn't come up with his own shtick, what he did is he just adopted Trump's shtick. This is a person who never used to talk. And now he's adopted Trump's shtick. Literally every single person in the UFC hates him because he is either stolen from them, lied about them, stole from their coaches. He had to leave his gym. He fights at a new gym with like no other fighters will even train with him in the gym. He has to work out all by himself
Just in a
because
corner.
he's like the most hated person ever. And of course, MAGA offered him protection. That's the only reason he has fans, is because MAGA will like anything or anyone that says we're MAGA. They're just like, yep, we're in. This is such a bad person. And MAGA,
Well, it's just like you saw
course.
at Weirdo Fest, like today, and we'll go over some more about it today. It's just anybody that has a grievance with the left, or like we'll sell that narrative, the like, oh, like MAGA, we're victims, we're being victimized, and life's not fair. Got invited to go. I mean, just walk around America Fest and like shake hands.
Yeah.
Like people federally indicted, or just all sorts of weirdos. It's like the Kyle Rittenhouse effect. It's like anybody, you know what I mean? Anyone who was like disenfranchised or canceled or will claim they were like some sort of victim of something, that MAGA's a victim because of your beliefs and your support for Donald Trump. You've been disenfranchised.
Right.
There's a cottage industry for you to make, like, do small appearances, be like a D-list influencer at these events.
Yeah. This is the grievances of MAGA are basically, if you could boil every one of these clips that we're about to cover, every one of them is, it's not fair that we're not popular. That's it. It's not fair that more people don't like us. They did this for 5 days. It seems like 5 years, but for 5 days, is it 5 or 4 that they did at Dumbfest?
Why is it so good? Like 4? I think it's 4 total.
Do you think
4,
it was
maybe
supposed
4
to,
nights? 5 days.
Do you think it was supposed to end and they just like keep going? People just keep walking
That's
up
what
on
it
stage.
seemed like.
Yeah, the guests at
It
this
seemed
point.
like that. I forgot it was 4 days. I was thinking it was 3 days. Then it kept going, and yeah, I don't know. I also didn't realize like Turning Point USA had a campus in Phoenix. I didn't realize Charlie Kirk lives. Does he live here?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't even do it. This state is so scary.
Lives here, loves here.
Gingerbread men.
Yeah, I wondered. I saw the list of speakers yesterday. I saw like there was an assistant manager from Taco Bell. There was a former stalker at Target. They're really scraping the bottom of the barrel for these guests now.
They're just like, do you know who this Jonathan Isaac is, since we're on sports?
Yeah. Should we talk about Jonathan Isaac?
Yeah, let's talk about him. I mean, I don't know that much about him. I didn't know this was going on. Like this guy.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to say what I learned about him today. He was at Weirdo Fest and was a featured speaker. Jonathan Isaac is an athlete that plays for the Orlando Magic. And he apparently has started a line of basketball shoes, and the brand is about anti-kneeling.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you getting what I'm saying here? Like anti-kneeling. He's selling a line of shoes geared towards never taking a knee for any reason. This is an African American man.
Right. And then the thing is this is one thing that sucks. We talked about this before. Like the way that we go. Here's what happened with Jonathan Isaac. Jonathan Isaac was just like, he's a good player. He was probably like a top 20 pick playing in Orlando. He decides that like his comment on why he stood wasn't bad. He said, like, I believe that Black Lives Matter. A lot went into my decision. It's my thought that kneeling or wearing a Black Lives Matter t-shirt don't go hand in hand with supporting Black lives. Like, it was fairly generic, but it wasn't. But of course he got backlash from the left because we like to do this. We like to go after anybody. And then he just went down the alt-right pipeline. Like, he found people that all of a sudden he had all this attention from people on Fox News because he was brave and he stood up. And then like a year later or a year and a half later, he's like, the government's trying to force vaccines in you. And now he's like an anti-vaxxer going around with Charlie Kirk on the Reawaken
Because he's joined
tour.
the cottage industry.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like this is what I'm saying. If the left, you get a taste of like the left's like cancel culture, a lot of these people go straight down the alt-right pipeline and are just like, okay, like I'm welcome here, so I'm just going to embrace this. I'm going to do the exact opposite.
It was a weird timeline. Like, he got hurt and he had like a lot of anxiety. And so when he was hurt and he was like, he got really, really religious, while he was hurt. When he wasn't around anybody, and then he was quarantined, he got really religious and really QAnon, and now here we are. And he's launched Unitas or Unitas. I assume
Is
it's
that what it
Unitas.
is? I didn't even get that till right now, till you
Yeah.
just said it. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's.
Yeah,
Let me look at the website. Oh, the shoe isn't bad.
This is what I hate about America Fest, though. How they, there's these characters they like prop up. But I do think it's also funny how Ron Filikowski was pointing out, like, Nike's branding is all over America Fest because they
Yeah.
have the giant blown up pictures of this guy. And I'm just like, I'm sure I wish Nike would just slap them with a lawsuit and be like, do not use our logo. Oh my God. What?
I have more to tell you. I think there's more about Jonathan Isaac that I was unaware of until,
Yeah,
and now this is me taking a guess. I didn't figure this out. He's selling a I Stand with Israel t-shirt on his website on Unitas. Hold on. It gets better.
No.
He has a signature shoe. Do you want to guess the name of the signature shoe? It's the Unitas what?
Colin Kaepernick?
Fucking Judah. Judah. It's the Judah 1. I now think that it's possible that Jonathan Isaac is like a Kanye West. What do they call that?
Yeah.
What are they?
Something's
I can't
going
remember what
on
they
there.
call it. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Well, there you go. There you go, MAGA. There's one more fucking psycho that joined you, and you guys are like, we love Jonathan Isaac. He's our favoriteest basketball player. By the way, he averages like 6 points a game. He's all right. He's in the NBA. If you're in the NBA, you're a great basketball player. But like, these are all.
Josh, do you want to come up here? You have so many thoughts. You have a lot of thoughts.
What did Josh ever hear?
Josh
ever hear of it?
Z391, he should come up here and talk and say all this stuff up here. You're gonna get carpal tunnel,
only has
Josh.
21 followers. So I can't.
You're gonna get
I tried to
carpal tunnel.
invite him.
Guys, tap the screen. Speaking of carpal tunnel, tap the screen. Let's get to 50K. Let's invite a Republican who has more than 21. Josh says 132 followers. Okay, Josh, you're getting up there.
Oh yeah. No, I'm sorry. That was he's following to him. 153 people
He
are
said
following.
just
You're welcome.
started, just stated. Can't wait. I can't wait either, Josh.
Don't worry,
think
Josh.
we'll
We'll
be
get you.
great
We'll get you to
friends.
the amount of. We'll get you to the amount of followers you need. Help us out.
How many followers
Chat.
do you need now to go live? I don't even know anymore because it keeps getting lowered, doesn't it?
I don't. I have no. Listen. You know I don't know what's going on.
That's true. That's a very good
Why?
point.
Why is this the Judah? This is This is what I'm talking about, Felice. Like every
I know.
time
I
we
don't
get
even
into a
wanna read through this
story.
list.
The story is, haha, Nike's on there, and I'm like, let's look into Jonathan Isaac real quick, and it's like, oh, okay, gotcha, big Kanye fan. This is, and by the way, his shoe is just a knockoff of the Kyrie like 2 or 3. He just stole somebody else's shoe design, and then made it probably from the same shoe manufacturer.
Just along the lines of what's going on with MAGA today. Today, Trump, one of his first random tweets was just him tweeting, "I'm not an insurrectionist." And then
Good morning. I'm
Good
not an
morning. I just want
insurrectionist.
everyone to know on True Social, I'm not an insurrectionist. And then in parentheses and quotations, both.
Double up.
If you could do that, whatever, like
And
peacefully
in
and
all caps.
patriotically.
In quotations,
Crooked Joe
in
Biden
parentheses, and all caps, peacefully
Yeah,
and
nobody knows.
patriotically.
I don't even know what it means. Because he said, I'm not an insurrectionist, peacefully and patriotically. Crooked Joe Biden is. Okay, thank you, Trump. Oh man, a few words this morning. Really talking about the issues.
He just had a rough day. He just wakes up. He didn't even have anything clever to say. I don't know if you saw at the top of that, wherever you clipped that from, they said he's a demented toddler. That's kind
What do
of
you think?
Philip Pikalowski.
Phil Kalowski. Yeah, he's.
What is it? Filipowski?
I've never met someone whose humor so clearly aligns with mine. Like, yeah.
Yeah, he's good. Oh my god. So that's how your morning started, which is good.
Yeah.
Then you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
so-
silly Jonathan Isaac and Nike. Turns out he's worse than we thought. Let's find some more things that are worse than we thought.
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Isaac, I can't believe that's how he's making money. Like, I mean, outside of his NBA career, he's like, this will be when my knees hurt too bad to keep jumping up and down on hard court. When the shin splints get too bad, I will just segue into my career, like my anti-Black Lives Matter
Yeah.
career.
I
Cool.
will move to the Republican Party where, because I am a black man, they will pretend at times that my voice matters, and that they'll even pretend they'll put me on the debate stage for presidential elections, but nobody will ever take me seriously because I am in the Republican Party. And ultimately, you are only useful to them until you're not useful to them.
Very,
Enjoy that.
very true. Okay, so first I'm going to play that poll. I caught a clip of Morning Joe today. There's a new poll I'm just going to play it because it's really short.
54% of Americans, 54% of Americans approve of the Colorado Supreme Court's decision to kick Donald Trump off the state's 2024 presidential primary ballot. 54% of Americans approve of it. Only 35% of Americans disapprove of it. The survey conducted by YouGov America found that 84% of Democrats, 48% of independents, 48% of independents, and 24% of Republicans approved of the ruling. And Mike, do polls dictate what court should do? No. No, they don't. But when you have Donald Trump and people who want an authoritarian taking control of Washington, D.C. again, saying, oh, this is a radical decision, this is anti-democratic, when in fact it's just the opposite. That poll is just one snapshot to show the majority of Americans are like, yeah, you know what? He shouldn't be on the ballot because he committed insurrection against the United States.
I think they pulled like 3,200 people or something around there, in case anyone's wondering what the sample size was. It's like low 3,000s of people that they pulled.
Look, the Republicans largely are just waiting for a reason that they can justify to their other Republican friends why they're not supporting Trump anymore. And this is an out for them, and it will be an out for them. If this gets overturned, this is the biggest gift ever to the Republican Party. Best case scenario for us is Donald Trump is on the ballot. Honestly, that's probably best case scenario because he will fuck up everything. The longer Donald Trump stays alive in the GOP, the more state, local, and national elections that progressives are going to win. You can see these numbers, but I thought all day yesterday about.
That's what I'm saying. People think we want to get rid of Trump. I don't.
I was thinking yesterday about all those people that are coming out. It's all the same excuse. Ron DeSantis said it. Vivek said it. Nikki Haley said it. I don't think we should let a bunch of bureaucrats decide if Donald Trump should be president. The people should. Yeah, you're fascist. Like, you're explaining fascism, folks. You're explaining that we, the people, and specifically you, the people, should be able to decide by popular vote how we adjudicate the law. Why do we have courts? Why do we have courts if their ruling can be overruled by just someone winning an election? Why would we even have courts? I don't get it. The Republicans will throw every single institution this country has ever had under the bus before they admit that this guy's a fucking idiot. Like, they will throw every single institution, our Constitution, our norms, our civility, they will throw all of that under the bus before they'll admit that Donald Trump just conned them.
Yeah, I mean, I want to be like, no, that's not the case, but absolutely. And it's amazing what people are saying is a threat to democracy. Like, I completely agree with you. But what I want to say is really quick, not to interrupt. Josh, you almost have enough followers. I'm noticing people are keeping up with the follower count. How many followers does Josh have now? It's 11. Wait, thank you, Kyle. It's almost time for Josh to come up here and say all this stuff to our faces. Isn't that great?
Well, he's
Sorry.
looking forward to it. Yeah.
Well, okay, so just segue into, so that's a poll that was just announced this morning on MSNBC. Also, this is Boebert yesterday, who I discussed. Boebert is very scared. Sorry, Jay's girlfriend is very scared because without Trump, if Trump's not at the top of the ticket in Colorado, a lot of diehard MAGA voters, Trump's base might not turn people won't turn out, which she only won her election by like 200 to 400 votes. I can't remember how many it was once they were cured. And so she probably will lose the election if Trump isn't on the ballot. So she's having feelings.
I am deeply ashamed of the Colorado liberal Supreme Court for putting politics ahead of the Constitution. Their entire case is built off of lies and personal vendettas. The people celebrating this move have no idea just how dangerous this is for our republic.
Josh has enough followers.
That was the most low energy Bobert.
I know.
Because
she's defeated. I think she sounds
a
bit. She sounds a bit defeated. Honestly,
she needs a night out.
Yeah.
What's up, Josh?
What's up, fellas?
Hey.
Ladies.
Are you waving around nunchucks?
No, not nunchucks.
What is that? Oh, it's one of those. I bet it's one of those knife things, right? The butterfly knife.
What the fuck are you talking about?
What's that sound?
Being weapons.
Oh yeah. What's that sound?
Oh, this is my lanyard. The one that I wear to go to work every day.
Oh, is there any way you can put it in your pocket? It's like drowning out everything you say.
Sure.
Cool. Thank you. So what's up, Josh? I didn't see the comments. Maybe it seems like Felice caught them. What's up?
Well, hey, thanks all for letting me come in, and thanks for following me to get me on the point where I can actually speak.
Yeah, welcome to the party, man.
Appreciate it. So what would you like to say?
Why are you afraid, Josh?
Of what?
Why are you afraid?
What you doing? Huh? What are you afraid of what?
Oh, that was the topic. That was our topic, so we thought maybe that's what you were coming up to talk about.
I'm not afraid of anything.
Come on,
That's the silly part.
Well, you were saying things in the comments like, do you think something was fixed or there's a conspiracy against Trump? What exactly were you?
Of course there is. If you can't see it, you're blind.
Oh, well, I'm not blind, so could you help me see it?
Sure.
Okay, what's that? What's fixed?
Well, let's start with the 51 agents that lied. The CIA agents
I
lied
love it. Let's start with them.
about Trump.
What did they lie
At the
about?
very beginning, about Hunter's laptop.
What did
being
they
real.
say about it?
They said it wasn't his. They said it wasn't real. They said it was
Wait,
propaganda bullshit.
hold on, real quick. They didn't say that though. So could we talk about what they really said?
They said it was Russian disinformation.
Oh, let's try one more time. Let's get the words accurate.
That's what they said.
What they said is the story coming out in the news tomorrow has all the earmarks of Russian disinformation. So you should be careful. You should be
Correct.
So you should be
But they
careful.
already
on
had the
so-
laptop.
So you should be
They
careful.
already had it. So what's the point?
Whoa! I wasn't quite done. So you should be careful about this story. Make sure you have sources.
Okay.
Okay.
They had the laptop.
Well,
51 agents lied.
let's try again.
In the very
Who had the
beginning. Let's
wait,
just start
wait,
with that.
who had the laptop?
The FBI had it.
Okay, and who signed the letter?
All of the agents from the FBI and the CIA.
Let's try. Oh, there we go. Former agents, right?
So you're telling wait.
Intelligence.
For starters,
These were just- wait,
intelligence.
hold
You're
on.
telling me the
Officers.
CIA doesn't talk to the FBI?
Correct.
Is that what you're saying?
Correct. They do
They
not
don't
share
speak to each other.
No, there would be no reason for them to share that information.
Okay.
And in fact, they're not.
That you're
And in
already
fact,
trying
wait,
to
hold
talk
on,
to me
hold on,
about,
hold
I
on,
work
hold
for
on,
Border Patrol,
hold on,
brother.
hold on.
I work
Josh,
here.
Josh,
We talk
Josh,
to everybody.
Josh, they're
Josh,
not.
calm down.
Josh, they're not allowed to share that information.
Oh my God, bro! You are so full of shit, and you don't know anything. I
well,
work for the government.
What do you do, Josh?
Josh, he said he works
I
for
work for
Border
Border
Patrol.
Okay, so Josh, if are you down on which state are you in? Are you
I'm in the
Arizona like
northern
us?
state. I'm in Michigan.
Oh,
You
you're
work
okay.
for
I work
Border
for-
Patrol in Michigan. You
Okay, so
patrol
you-
the northern border.
Yep,
So-
I sure do.
So Josh, can you go into the the Kalamazoo Police Department and ask for evidence on a case?
Of course I can.
You can. And can they give it to you?
Of course they can. There
No.
has to be paperwork. Yes.
No, okay,
yes,
what does that
there is.
paperwork have to?
Oh
What does
my
that
God,
paperwork
dude,
have to
yes.
involve, Josh?
It's
A court order, right?
basically you have to submit. No, you don't need a court order to get.
In order
evidence.
for you, no, that would be
you
a
do not.
subpoena for you to walk in and get it. Yeah, you would need a court order for that.
Dude, I can go out to the Kalamazoo Sheriff's Department, whatever, and I can get information from them.
Well, you can
very
ask
easily.
you can ask them, and they can
It's called-
share
it's
whatever
called-
they want
it's-
to share with
It's
you.
called
but-
professional courtesy, brother.
yeah,
Bet you
that's
never
what it
heard
is. So what you're saying is that as a professional courtesy, the FBI is calling all the other intelligence agencies and saying, "Here's the laptop, and here's what's on it." That's what you
Well,
think
I'll
happened?
tell you what, when you have the son of a sitting president making millions of dollars from foreign entities
Yeah.
and banks
Oh,
are
okay.
coming
So
up-
you're talking about Jared
Oh, no, no, no,
Kushner?
Let me finish. You have basically the FBI saying, "Hey, man," and banks too, flagging these payments, saying, "Hey,
Yep.
these are fishy.
Yes,
we need
the
to look
SARS,
into them."
SARS reports.
And then they turn around and say, "Well, we're not going to look into them because we can't, because that's the president's son."
Yeah, that didn't happen. They're looking
That's
into
not
him
what
right
happened.
now. He's
It already
currently-
happened, bro.
He's being investigated. He's been charged. What the fuck are you
He's
talking
being
about?
charged because they threw away the sweetheart deal, bro.
No, he was
Right.
being wait, he was already being charged.
Man,
You
they
just
gave
didn't
him a
like the
sweetheart deal.
punishment. That's what
Listen,
you don't. You understand
no.
that?
No, it's not even about the punishment. They let the time run out.
Hold on,
The statute
wait,
of
Josh,
limitations,
you
they
left-
let it
hold
run
on,
out.
Because
Hold on. We got to go back. Josh, you left this subject entirely, and we're not just going to play like let
Okay,
Josh
well, that's
spin a
the- that's
narrative.
the beginning.
So
Let's
at the
talk about it.
beginning, the CIA agents, the intelligence agents, based on that letter, not one single thing in that letter was a lie.
It was a total lie. They
No,
said it was
none- no,
Russian.
which
it
part
had
was a
all
lie?
the earmarks of Russian disinformation.
It did. Do
You're
you know who
telling
posted
you're
that
telling
story?
the
Wait,
American
hold on.
public
Hold on,
that it
hold
was
on,
Russian
hold on,
information
hold on. Josh,
before an
Josh,
election.
Josh,
it's
Josh,
rigged.
Josh,
rigged,
Josh,
rigged,
Josh,
rigged.
Josh, listen, buddy. I'm gonna cut you off when you get facts wrong. This isn't a platform.
that is a fact.
Hold on, Josh. This isn't a platform where you get to come on and tell stories. Okay? Are we good on that?
Okay.
So when you get facts wrong,
Sure.
I'm gonna cover that. Okay. Where was
Okay.
the lie?
And the fact that it was not Russian disinformation.
They
and
didn't
that
say it was
entirely
Russian.
his and it was true.
Wait, Josh, stop. They didn't say it was Russian disinformation. Use the words right. They said it was what?
Oh my God, bro.
Yeah, Josh, words matter. They matter. And it's frustrating for you because
They
it doesn't
said it
fit
Because
had
the
the difference is
narrative.
they didn't say it
earmarks.
was. Yes.
Let's get the
yes.
words
They
right.
said it had all the earmarks.
Okay,
of
why
Russian,
did they come to that opinion? Have you looked into why they came to that opinion?
Because they think that Donald Trump, for some reason, is a Russian
So
spy.
no,
I
so
guess?
just
I
say
don't
no.
know.
You haven't looked into it. Because that
No.
was a guess, right? Yeah, no, you haven't. So I'll tell you.
Because people are
Wait,
saying that
Josh,
Russia
it's not your
interfered
turn.
in the
Josh,
2016 election.
Josh, I'm not asking for guesses. Just you already said you didn't know.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell you now. The reason they said that is because there was only one source, and this story was already being spread through Russian propaganda. It had already started to spread. And the story that was going to be released the next day had one source, and it repeated everything that was happening in Russia. So they said, be careful. And you know what they did? All the responsible news outlets waited until they had a second source to post the story. All but one. One news outlet chose to post the story before they got a second source.
then it
And
was
Twitter
taken
silenced
down.
them for
taken
24
down.
hours. Because
What do you
Twitter
call that?
was worried.
That is called
but
censorship, my man.
You're allowed to censor.
Is
Now we'll get to that.
censorship
Okay.
allowed in
Yes.
America?
Yes.
Literally? What,
Yes.
How?
Yes, it's a
How?
private business. They can. They
It's
can
a
pull out
corporation
laws they
because
want.
capitalism.
No.
Josh,
What
I'll
law
explain it to you. Let me explain it to you,
allows
Josh.
censorship?
Josh, stop talking. Stop talking. I'm going to tell you. I used to work in the tech
So you're saying
industry
because they're a
specifically.
private
Stop talking,
organization, they can
Josh.
do whatever
Josh,
they
you
want.
don't know the answer. Josh, you don't know what you're talking about. So I'm going to tell you very quickly. This could help you so you don't waste time arguing things that are fundamentally untrue. Private corporations, right? Twitter, for instance, is a private business. They decide what content they can have on their site. They can take down or leave up any content they want. That's called a private corporation. The first censorship is about the First Amendment. That's what I think you're talking about. That has nothing to do with a private corporation who's protecting an environment in order to make privatized profit off advertising dollars. I'm done now.
Josh, I sent you an invite to turn your microphone back on. You'll just hit the little microphone button. I had to turn it off because you wouldn't stop interrupting Felice. There you go.
Is that what you call
protecting the public is censoring information?
Private corporations are creating an environment in which advertisers will feed them, funnel them millions, billions upon billions of dollars of ad revenue. So private corporations in this country,
So if they,
because of
okay,
capitalism, get to decide what content
yep.
is on their site. That has nothing to do
So
with
if they don't
censorship
like the
or the
content,
First Amendment.
those people will pull their funding, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so do we live in a free and fair society then?
Yes. Josh,
How?
Josh, well, let's just say that you own a donut shop, and every day I go into the donut shop and I stand on the table of your donut shop and I start yelling racial slurs. Should you be able to get me out of your donut shop? Should you be able to
Of
silence
course.
my... Okay, so now that I've left your donut shop, I'm standing on the public sidewalk right outside your donut shop, and I am screaming racial slurs. Should I be allowed to do
Totally-
that, Josh? Every single
totally
person who
okay.
tries to walk in your donut shop?
Totally fine. He's on
Incorrect.
public property.
Not
He can
totally
say whatever
fine.
he wants.
No, that is against the law, Josh.
Is it?
You cannot scream racial slurs at people in public. That is harassment.
So why
It's
are all the
targeted.
protesters saying?
Why
are all the protesters doing it right now?
I'm
saying
done talking.
from
Josh,
the river to the sea.
Josh, dude, I know this is your first time on TikTok. I don't know if it's your first time talking to other humans. But when one person is talking, the other person doesn't talk. So, Josh, is free speech is it unlimited? Can you just say whatever you want whenever you want?
So free speech is built on the fact that you are able to say what you want. Now, hate speech is different, correct?
Right. So my question is, does free speech mean you can say whatever you want whenever you want?
Free speech means you can say whatever
Why
you
won't
want.
you answer
whenever
my
you
question?
Want.
Why are you?
I just
why
did.
are you going?
I
No.
just said yes. The
No,
answer
you
is
didn't.
yes.
Thank you. Okay, so the answer to that is yes. Now, Josh, could I go home could I go to the privacy of my own home and stand on a table and yell those racial slurs?
Of course.
Okay, so what is the difference between me screaming racial slurs in my own home and me screaming racial slurs in public?
It becomes hate speech
Why?
because it's hateful.
What? Well, but what makes it's hateful in my home too? But it's not hate speech. So what
If I
about
look
being
up the
outside?
definition, it's going to say something about.
You don't have to look it up, Josh. You're smart enough to get this. What's the difference? There's other people, right?
Of course.
That's the difference. That there's other people hearing the speech, right?
Right.
Okay, so you can silence that speech. It is not
So
unlimited,
are
correct?
Jews
now,
hearing people
now
calling
again,
for
wait, hold on,
intifada
Josh, we're
and
almost there.
to the river
Josh,
from the sea?
Josh, not your turn yet.
but
Josh,
this is
we're
just-
almost there. Josh, we're almost there.
Okay.
So Twitter is your donut shop. In your donut shop, you are allowed to control the speech. You can tell people to leave if you don't like their speech. You can tell them to leave
can't control
if
their
they're
speech, you
wearing
can
an
tell them to leave.
offensive shirt. You can tell them,
Tell
to,
them to
leave if
leave.
they
You
have
can't
their
control
pants
them.
off. The only
control
reason
them.
correct. So on Twitter, they can tell people to leave. They can silence their account. They can remove. The only way to leave Twitter, the only way to not be heard is for them to silence your account. It is no different, Josh, than you owning a donut shop. But the problem with you and Republicans is you think that when your speech is unpopular and people don't want to pay to hear your speech, that is you being silenced. No, it's you being unpopular. And that's unfortunately how the free market of ideas works, my friend. If your ideas are unpopular, people don't want to hear them.
Okay. Well, speaking of popular, I believe Trump was
No,
up
we're
in
not
the
changing
polls,
subjects.
right?
Respond to
So-
what I'm saying. Respond to what I'm saying.
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
That there needs to be some kind of, probably some kind of oversee of platforms such
You
as
want
Twitter.
government now
So
to
you
tell
can't.
business. So you now want government to
No,
step
I
in and
don't
tell
want. I
businesses
actually like.
how
I
to
like
moderate.
Twitter the way it is. Do
Wait,
you guys all
what's
like the way Twitter
oversight
is
that you
now,
want?
where
What's the-
everybody can say
What's
pretty
the
much what they
oversight that
want?
you want? What's the oversight that you want?
That people aren't banning accounts. That's it.
So who's going to do that oversight?
Well, the company does now.
Who is going to do the oversight? Companies don't do their own oversight. You're advocating for oversight of these companies. Who's going to perform
I'm
that
advocating
oversight?
for free speech, my man.
Who
That's
is
it.
going to perform that oversight?
I mean, I guess the government would have
The
to.
government, of course. Another conservative who wants to have the government make sure that their unpopular ideas are heard. Your ideas are just unpopular, dude. That's it.
Oh,
like
okay.
the ideas that are taken down on the internet are usually just like racist or anti-science
No.
ideas. It's
Was Hunter Biden's laptop being his racist?
No, but
was
hold
that
on.
racist? Was
No.
it hate speech?
No, it
no,
was
no, no, no.
Russian.
Tell me,
No,
my
it had
man, was it
all the
hate
earmark-
speech?
it had-
It had nothing to do with hate
I didn't
speech.
say
It had
did,
nothing to
bud.
do with anything.
Josh, bud. I
The
didn't
only
say
thing it had
Josh,
to do with
Josh,
was
Josh,
against
Josh,
President
Josh,
Biden.
Josh,
And
Josh,
they didn't like
Josh,
that, bro.
Josh,
Period. The
Josh,
people that were there
Josh,
didn't
all
like
right,
it.
Josh, I didn't say that. You're fighting a straw man. I never said it was taken down for hate speech. When you say something, Josh, when you ask me a question and I say no,
Okay,
don't
okay, wait, wait,
don't,
let's
Josh. That's the
No,
middle
no,
of
no.
my sentence again.
Let's
Josh.
move on,
Josh.
dude.
That's
Just
the
move
middle
on
of
from
my
Twitter
sentence.
and all this
Josh.
shit.
Josh, that was the middle of my sentence. Josh, when you ask me a question and I say no, don't proceed with the answer like I said yes. Is that fair?
Sure.
Thank you. Now, what did you want to say?
I'm just trying to tell you, they suppressed free speech. You can say what you want.
No, no,
No,
no.
they
that were there-
didn't.
No, no,
They
no, no, no.
factually
Josh,
didn't. You
I'm
need to
muting
stop
you.
saying that.
Josh.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
You don't get
We
to
just
come.
did this.
Yeah, Josh, you don't get to come on and just say the same shit that you already said. We've already established and agreed that it is not free speech. You can unmute now, but please, Josh, don't keep saying things that you already admitted you were wrong about.
So you're telling me that if Twitter takes down a Washington Post story because of the people that are censoring the story.
The story
Correct.
wasn't being censored. Hold on, wait. Nobody was.
And it was a New York Post story.
They were the ones. Twitter was the ones
And what
that
does that
censored
matter?
it. Twitter is the
We're
one.
just
What does that
correcting. You're
matter?
just saying a bunch of non-factual information.
It was a New York Post
And what
story.
we like to do is try to get facts
New York
right. You're
Post-
not big on dealing
okay.
in facts, but everything you've said so far since you've come up here has been incorrect, and it's grating on our nerves. That's what
The
it is.
fact was,
If this is your
It was
opinion, make sure
misleading.
this is not. Make sure this is a
the
fact and
fact
not
was,
an opinion.
it was misleading.
What
It was
was?
misleading.
What
and they
was?
took down
What
the
was
story.
misleading?
That's where this all began.
No,
I
what,
mean, it
Josh?
all began right
Can
there.
you hear, Josh? What?
And then
was,
the Democrats
Josh,
want to continue.
Josh, Josh.
When do I get to talk,
Josh,
bro? Do
when-
I ever get
when-
to talk?
You just talked, and now I'm asking you a clarifying question about what you just said. What was misleading, Josh?
The fact that people took down the New York Post story about
Who
the
took
Hunter
down the New York
Biden
Post story?
laptop. Twitter's censorship executives.
So what was misleading?
It's called a moderation team.
You can call it what you want.
So
I call
what
it
was
censorship.
misleading?
Well, there's one name is correct.
What was misleading, Josh?
Sure. I just told you.
No, that wasn't. You just told me what happened. Nothing in what you just said was misleading. You said Twitter
Can I ask
took
a
down a
question?
story. That's not misleading.
Was the Hunter Biden
No.
laptop
You don't
story
get to
true?
change the subject until
Was
you
it true?
answer.
Yes or
you
no?
You don't get to answer.
Was it true?
Josh, goddamn, dude.
Was it?
Listen, dude. You're muted again. You can ask me questions after you answer questions. Don't answer my questions with another question. What was misleading, Josh?
I already told you.
You told me that Twitter took the story down. That's true. That's not misleading. That's just true.
What is it?
I don't know. You're the one that made the claim that something was misleading.
Was the story true?
Was what story true?
Was the story true?
The New York Post story? Well, I don't remember exactly what it said. I don't know if it all
It
of it
sure
was true.
damn right it was, dude.
What did it say? What did it say?
Well, can I offer something that actually is relevant to the New York Post story? Okay, so I'm reading, this is from a New York Times article. New York Post, it's titled, New York Post published Hunter Biden report amid newsroom doubts. So what was misleading, and the reason that Twitter's moderation team was confused, because I have deeply researched this, watched every congressional hearing, was that some reporters withheld their bylines and questioned the credibility of an article that made the tabloid's front page on Wednesday. That's what was going on. The original author of the Hunter Biden story, if you know anything about journalism, there needs to be two sources that confirm an article. The man who actually wrote it pulled his name off the byline and said, I want nothing to do with this because I can't confirm this stuff. The two names that ended up on the byline, one person had never had a byline at the New York Post before, and another one admitted she had little or nothing to do with the article. That's where the confusion with Twitter's moderation team was coming from. They were trying to confirm something that they could not confirm. The story was down for less than 24 hours, and then Jack Dorsey, the owner at the time of Twitter, made the call to put it back up. But if
Josh,
the misleading part was who actually wrote the story and why they couldn't get anyone on the phone, and there wasn't a second source to confirm it.
Josh, let me ask you a question. Let's say that you're a reporter, and I bring you a USB drive, just a little USB, and I say, what's on this USB drive is the contents of Donald Trump's personal laptop. And on that hard drive, there's gonna be pictures of Trump. There's gonna be emails that Trump wrote. There's going to be maybe some bank records. There's gonna be text messages. There's gonna be spreadsheets. All that. It's on this little thumb drive that I gave to you. How would you decide whether or not what I gave you was really a copy of Donald Trump's hard drive?
That's a good question, because they can make a fake.
Good question. So did you know that what the New York Post had was an external hard drive that was claimed to be a copy of Hunter Biden's laptop, but they only had that one source, and that source was Rudy Giuliani, and that person was Donald Trump's personal lawyer, and he said to the New York Post, just take my word for it, this is a copy of Hunter Biden's laptop.
Which it was.
You would, well, but hold on. But again, the reason that the story was silenced is because they only had one source. Just like you said, you wouldn't necessarily believe it until there was a second source. But in this era of news, the New York Post decided to come out and say, we're going to post it anyways. And they wound up apologizing for that. And like Felice said, the author took his name off because it wasn't complete. And it turned out that I'm pretty sure the second source that confirmed it wound up being the FBI. And the reason the story looked like Russian disinformation is because almost certainly Rudy leaked this information to the Russians as well. And they don't care about sources. So it was all over Russian media. So when these ex-intelligence agencies see a story floating around out there in Russia, and they see that there's one source and one source only, they're saying, hey guys, if this story comes to you, be careful. There's only one source on it. By the way, all of these people were retired. All of these people were retired too. So these aren't even people who are getting up-to-date information from the FBI. They're just basically giving us all a warning that Russia will lie about things, so be careful what you read. And then once we had a second source, everybody read it. This didn't hurt Donald Trump. It doesn't show that the government was involved in anything. You just explained yourself. If you get a hard drive and not the actual computer, how are you going to know that it's his computer? You don't. You need a second source.
Yeah, you need a second source. That's fine. You got to double check it. But man,
okay, so then doesn't it make... Hold on. So let's find some agreement here. So then doesn't it make sense that Twitter would hear that story that we just told and say, hey, we're going to be careful, because if we post a fake story, we're going to look like idiots, and our advertisers might be upset.
Sure.
Yeah, it was reasonable. 24 hours they took it down for.
Okay.
But
well,
let's
find some common ground here now, and let's say that it was true, though, correct? Let's go ahead. Let's say that it was true.
The FBI has confirmed that a laptop exists. They have not confirmed that the contents that have been shown necessarily are from that laptop. But they have confirmed that a laptop exists.
So that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Why are you afraid of Donald Trump?
I'm not afraid of Donald Trump. At the beginning of this, I said I hope he keeps running because ever since 2016, all that dude has done is lose. I believe Donald Trump is a fascist, and I believe he represents the word. Okay, yeah, we could go into that if you'd like.
Sure.
Yeah, how about the other day when he said he wanted to be dictator for a day?
You mean dictator for a day to close the border and start drilling, and then that's it?
Right. So in order to do both of those things, he would have to ignore our Constitution. That's why he said he only wants to do it.
You mean how
for
Joe
one day.
Biden did?
Hold on. Don't do whataboutisms, Josh. I know you're.
What are you doing? Are you like folding a blanket? Stop.
Josh, I know you're new to TikTok debates. I'm just going to give you a tip. Don't do whataboutisms. When somebody asks you a question, don't answer it with what about. Just answer the question honestly, and then we can find common ground. Is that fair?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, so Donald Trump, in order to do the drilling he wants on day one and send troops to the border, he has to bypass our Constitution.
Correct.
Okay. I am not in favor of one person unilaterally having
It's
the
not
authority.
necessarily bypassing.
Hold on. I wasn't even done
It's
with
an
what I said.
executive
Wait,
order,
I wasn't
right?
even done with what I was saying. I'm not okay with somebody unilaterally bypassing the Constitution. And to answer that question about the executive orders cannot be unconstitutional. An executive order does not allow you to bypass the Constitution.
What is drilling?
Do you think
and
what if
closing
Joe
the
Biden
border
had the power
have
to bypass?
anything to do with messing up the Constitution or going against
What's
the
that?
Constitution? What does those two things that he wants to do have anything to do
Good question.
with being unconstitutional?
Yeah, so it is the rule of law in this country, according to our Constitution, that you cannot use foreign troops on our land. Like, you can't send foreign troops on our land to be troops, right? You can't activate them and have them active duty as troops. That's why during Trump's presidency, he did send troops down by the border, and they didn't get paid active duty status. They just got paid their regular, normal, like they were home. They couldn't get paid that way because it's unconstitutional to do that. So when he sent them down there, basically all they were able to do is stand around. They couldn't do any law enforcement. They couldn't do any sort of detention or detainments. They couldn't do anything. They just were basically a prop. So he would have to, without going to the courts, without going to Congress, bypass that. And he would send the troops down there and do whatever he's going to do. But is that going to work for one day? You certainly can't get everything done in one day, right? So it's hard for me to imagine that Donald Trump does that just for one day and then gives the power back. How many days are you comfortable living under fascism? And how sure are you that once we're fascist, they'll give the power back?
Who? I mean, to me, again, that's not being fascist.
That's,
if you're closing
but by
the border
definition, that
and
is.
you're opening up.
No.
But if you're going to say,
not,
okay,
wait, hold
but
on.
if you're, well,
Josh,
is it my turn to talk or no?
Yes, it
You
is.
just talked.
Josh, but you're
Okay.
already misstating what I'm saying. Again, I'm not talking about closing the border or drill baby drill. I'm talking about bypassing the Constitution and using our military on U.S. soil to protect the border. That part is unconstitutional. That's the only part. So not opening or closing the border.
So first of all, he wouldn't use our military. He would use the National Guard.
So no,
the National Guard is not the military. No, it's not. It is
Armed
not.
forces. What do you want to call it?
That's not an armed force. The National Guard is not the military.
Then why do they report to the Army General?
They can report to. First of all,
Yeah,
they do.
Yeah,
No, they don't.
No.
They are. Josh, don't die on
not-
this hill. This is not the hill to die on.
So why does the National Guard respond to hurricanes? Why does the National Guard respond to forest fires?
Great
you guys
question.
don't know what you're talking about.
No,
They're
wait,
not
wait,
the
Josh,
military.
I already explained this, Josh. What they're not
And the
allowed
National
to do-
Guard is
Josh,
and the
Josh,
National Guard
Josh,
will be
Josh,
called
Josh,
out for
Josh,
any type
Josh,
of riot
Josh,
events as
Josh,
well. They
Josh,
were in the 60s
Josh,
and the 70s and the 80s.
Josh, I already explained that. I already explained that they're not allowed to do law enforcement. They basically are allowed to do crowd control. And the border is controlled by law enforcement.
No shit.
So the military can't just go in and say we're law enforcement now. Why?
It's very
because they're not
easy.
law enforcement. There's a
You're
separate.
not-
Wait,
you're-
Josh.
this is
there's
not
a,
the
Josh,
military.
Josh, there's a separation there on purpose.
The National Guard is
Josh,
only used.
Josh,
to handle civil
Josh. Oh my God, dude.
in the country.
Josh, okay, I don't care. Josh, you got to let me finish. There's a separation there on purpose. The reason that there is a difference between the military and the police is because we're not supposed to use the military against legal actions inside of this country. That's why.
Because Josh, it's unconstitutional to call up the American military and turn it on U.S. citizens. That's what it is.
You're muted, Josh. Josh, you gotta push unmute.
I'm trying to tell you, man, you can use the National Guard for this.
No, you can't. It's literally been ruled on. When Donald Trump tried to do this before, the Supreme Court ruled on it. No, you can't, Josh. You're just wrong.
Yes, you can.
No, Josh,
You're
you
wrong.
cannot.
You are
Josh,
wrong, bro.
This
You're
is
wrong.
silly, dude.
You can
Nobody
use the
thinks,
National Guard
Josh,
to
nobody
enforce
thinks
the
this is
border
true.
policies of our life. And if you're so worried about not following the Constitution, Joe Biden isn't following the Constitution.
Well, we're not doing whataboutisms. We're not doing whataboutisms yet, Josh. We're not doing whataboutisms yet.
They're breaking the law every day. Every single day they're breaking the law.
Josh. Okay, fine. Let's do that. Give me one law that he's broken.
What are you talking about? He's letting people in our country. We have laws
how
against
hard is that? Yeah. What laws are being
These
broken?
people aren't here for asylum, bro.
Joe
when
Biden.
they say, we're coming here for work, that's not
good
asylum.
Lord, Josh, buddy. If somebody comes here and asks for asylum, we have to hear their asylum claim. That's the rule.
And they can wait
if somebody
in Mexico.
comes and claims
the
asylum,
thing
you
that Joe
can't say,
Biden
"Fuck
got rid
you,
of.
get out
They
of
can
here."
remain in Mexico, bro.
No, that's not how it works. What if they're fleeing Mexico?
It is how it worked. It's how
what
it
if
worked
they're
3
fleeing
years
Mexico?
ago. Oh, Mexico. From what?
What if they're
Mexico's
fleeing a
not
cartel?
an impoverised place. It's not like it's dangerous. I was
Brother,
in Cancun.
either way, it doesn't matter. Either way, Josh. Either way, it doesn't matter. International law says, and
Look,
we have done this forever.
Josh,
shut the fuck up when other people are talking.
Up,
Josh, god damn, dude. I know you're gonna get mad and start screaming, but Josh, that's not how this works. When somebody shows up and they say like, I'm escaping an impoverished country, I need help, we hear their asylum claim. That's just the way it is. And you can dehumanize immigrants all you want, and you can pretend that Joe Biden is trying to bring in a bunch of immigrants to replace you, but he's not. Like, if Joe Biden was breaking the law at the border, then one of the myriad of court cases that's been brought by so many Republicans would have made its way to the Supreme Court at some point.
Joe Biden is breaking the law every
Who
day.
decides who's breaking the law, Josh?
The laws are in place, my man.
Who decides who's breaking the law, Josh?
The laws are in place.
Who
If you
decides
don't follow
who's
them,
breaking the
then
law,
you're breaking
Josh?
the law.
Who decides who's breaking the law, Josh?
Let me guess. Democrats.
No, you idiot. Judges.
Dude, it seems
Did you
like
not know that
Democrats to me.
answer? Did you really not know that answer? Judges, of course. Bro,
Dude.
I'll send you Schoolhouse
This
Rock
is
if
you
need
guys
it.
are playing a
What
game
the
with
three-
this. You're
Josh,
playing a
what are the
game with
three-
12,000
Josh,
people
what are the-
entering our
Josh,
country every day.
what are
You're
the
playing
three-
a
Josh,
game. It's a
I know,
seriously
I know,
dangerous
it's time
game.
to talk tough. I know, you got to warn us. Josh, what are the three branches of government?
Legislative, judicial, and executive.
Great. And whose job is it to interpret the laws?
The judicial branch.
Okay, now has the judicial branch ruled that anything at the southern border that Joe Biden has done broke the law?
Yes.
What?
They're breaking the law every day.
No, what have the courts ruled that he did that broke the law?
It's not about their ruling or
Oh
not.
no,
They're
it's
not
about your
following the
opinion.
law.
Oh, okay.
No.
It's your opinion.
It
on
says
what's
that if
illegal.
you enter
okay.
this country illegally, that you
He's not
shall
letting-
be deported,
Do you
bro.
think he's
It's
down
not a
there
may
opening
be
the
deported.
door?
It
Do you think
says
he's opening
shall
the door
be
for
deported.
them, Josh?
He's not deporting
Wait.
anybody, you dumb shit.
Well, actually, they are deporting people. You dumb shit.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Not to the point. Not to the amount.
Not
that
as
are
many
coming
as
in.
I want. I want them all gone. We know, Josh. We know. You want all the brown people to be sent back. We get it. But he is deporting
Oh, you
people.
get it. That's not
Everything
what
you
it's
say-
about, bro.
Oh, sure it's not.
That isn't
What's
what it's
then,
about.
Josh?
It's about safety.
Safety of what?
Do you think
Safety
that
of
the
what,
Border
Josh?
Patrol
I don't
has
care.
any
Safety of
wait,
what?
wait, wait.
No,
Do
not
you think
right.
the Border
No,
Patrol
Josh,
has the
Josh.
technology to
Safety from what, Josh? I'm muting you. Again, when I ask you a question, don't ask me a question in return. What are the immigrants doing that are causing you to be unsafe, Josh, up there in Michigan?
Do you think that Border Patrol
Josh, I just said don't answer my question with a question, and you immediately start answering a question.
Do you think
Josh,
we have the
Josh,
technology to vet
Josh,
all these people?
Oh my God,
it's
dude. All right, gotta mute you again. Josh, let's try this one more time. What are you afraid of with immigrants? We got there. MAGA Josh, why are you afraid of these immigrants? Don't start it with a question or I'll like immediately mute you. Why are you afraid of these immigrants? You're muted, Josh. Joshua, you're muted. Why are you afraid of these immigrants?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Why are you afraid of these immigrants?
I'm afraid that the people that are coming here are not being properly vetted. They are not being properly having background checks.
How would you vet them?
Wait.
No, I'm asking you questions about what you say. No. I'm asking you one by one.
Sir. There's absolutely no way to vet all of these people in the true manner that you need to.
Great. So you're saying then we just don't allow immigrants in?
I would say kick them out of the country, deport them.
All of them.
The people that are
everybody.
All of them.
How are you going to find? How are you going to find?
That is here.
I'm asking you questions. How are you going to find illegal people that are here?
It's called ICE, brother.
Okay,
ICE.
So you're going to use ICE.
They're actually
to do what?
pretty goddamn good. They're pretty.
You're going to use ICE to do what? You're going to use ICE to
hunt them down and take them out.
Hunt them down and take them out. How would they hunt them down?
I'm telling you right now.
No, I'm asking you questions, Josh. I'm giving you the floor.
Half of them are going to leave when Trump wins.
Josh, don't do this. Josh, don't go to a monologue. I'm asking you questions. I'm giving you the floor. Don't change the subject. You finally have an opportunity to explain your views.
Yes,
How is ICE going to?
Okay.
What's ICE going to do? No, I'm not asking you, Josh. I'm not asking you to go on a monologue. You still have to answer my questions here, okay?
Okay.
You still got to answer.
The boss. Go for
what
it.
is ICE going to do to round up roughly? What's the last number I saw? Like something like 12 million?
30 million.
30 million.
Try 30.
Okay, sorry, from this. Okay, so you want everybody in the whole. How's ICE going to find 30 million people without documents, first of all?
Okay. As soon as Trump wins, half of them are going to leave anyways.
No, that's
he's going to tell them
no.
They will.
You're not answering my question again.
Yes.
You're still not answering my question. How is ICE going to track people down? That's what I'm asking.
Easy, bro. You show up at plants. You show up at Foster Farms. You
Home Depot, I assume you're going to say?
Yep, Home Depot.
Yeah,
you
Home
bet,
Depot.
Dude.
Gotcha.
You bet. Everywhere.
Gotcha.
Dude, you
so
don't
we're
think
gonna
that they have the ability to do this?
We're going to use our law enforcement to round up human beings.
It's not our law enforcement. It's called ICE. That's their job.
That's law enforcement. Jesus, dude.
It's not like you're going to use police officers.
Hold on. They're going to go round up 30 million people. Now, are we going to put them on trains or planes, or how do we deport everybody? Any way we can. What if we don't have any trains available? Would you put them in like an internment camp or something while they were waiting?
Why are you being so stupid?
No, I'm asking. What if we don't have trains available? It's 30 million people. What do we do when we catch these people and we don't have a train available for them? Where do we put them? While we're waiting to deport them.
Send them back right to
their
while
country, we're waiting. I understand that. We'll deport them. But while we're waiting to deport them, where should we put them?
6 months you can have.
No, I'm just wondering where we should put them, Josh. I don't know why you're avoiding this question.
What do you mean?
Where should we put these illegal immigrants that are here?
In detention centers.
Like internment camps?
You mean like an ICE detention center?
Guys. Not a fascist. We're going to round up all the brown people. We're going to put them in camps. While we
Why
wait
do you
to
say they're
send
brown?
them on
There's
trains
white people
to
here from
another
Europe
country.
that are here illegally.
Jesus, dude.
There's people here from all over that are here from illegally.
I know.
It's
That's
not just
why
black
we need
and
the
brown
camps
people.
so that we can figure out where they came from, so we know where to send them back to, right? That's why we need the camps.
Well,
we got to put them
first
up.
of all, whatever money they have in their account, we're going to take that too.
Yeah, dude.
Because they owe us.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they owe us. Dude, this is crazy.
This is
why we call you guys fascists, just so you know. Okay. Because at the end of this conversation,
Josh, you have a series of ideas, Josh.
What is
fascist you have a series
about
of ideas that are
upholding the law?
unconstitutional and illegal and
No, they're not.
inhumane.
Constitutional to who?
Because you don't have any real
Illegal
solutions.
immigrants?
Josh has a lot of feelings, a lot of grievances. Not a solutions guy, not a critical thinker. Just a lot of feelings.
big
They're
nations.
not citizens.
Yeah,
They're
we
not
got that. We
the
got
right
that, Josh. Nobody's arguing that with you.
They're
Nobody's
not
arguing that with you.
American citizens, bro.
Yeah, Josh,
They
we
have
agree with
zero
you, dude.
rights. No rights.
So that's why you get to put them in camps. That's why you get
It's
to
not
round them
about
up
putting
put
them
it-
in camps, and you
guys,
said
they're
that.
not-
That's the
they're not
stupidest
real
fucking thing you
humans
ever
like
heard
us.
of.
They're not real humans like us.
Do you believe there's not detention centers already?
I do.
Like, then what the fuck are you so stupid
Yeah, I
about?
don't
Like, you put them in
advocate for
detention
them. No,
centers,
some-
and then
They
you,
are
and then you deport
advocating,
them.
Josh. They're going to set up makeshift detention centers. You don't. You
No, they're
can't
not.
even let me tell you something. You're
just
also not
said
a
we should do
logistics.
that.
You're not a logistics guy. You're not a supply chain guy. You don't even understand the logistics.
You know that
the infrastructure
15
it would
million
take to
people are
deport.
going to
Stop
leave
talking,
as soon-
Josh, you literally have no idea what you're talking about. Like, the reason I've been quiet this whole time is because this conversation is so far below my intelligence level. I can't take it. To deport 30 million people, yes, you would need makeshift detention centers. The detention centers now, the ICE detention centers, are full. Maybe that's because you're up at the northern border. You guys aren't rounding up too many Canadians. You don't understand what's going on, Josh. You don't understand the logistics of the illegal, unconstitutional thing that you want to happen. You also don't understand, Josh, that the party you're voting for, Republicans, the party of big business, like you suggested you show up at Foster Farms, one of the largest corporations in America, who's part of the grocery lobby, part of the ConAgra lobby. You're going to show up there and you're going to take their workers. There's a reason that the Republicans specifically have never done anything to fix immigration, Josh. It's because we need that cheap labor pipeline. They want undocumented workers here so they can pay them less, so they don't have to give them medical insurance. That's the point, Josh. Are you getting it now? Closing the border is just what they tell you people during election time. The Republican Party has done nothing about immigration. Nothing, Josh.
And if we
You got
dehumanize
got.
if we dehumanize those people at the same time, then we also won't really care about the corporations abusing them. That's the beauty of these corporations, right? They get to come in and they get to take your side where they sound anti-immigrant, and then they use the slave labor because, again, you guys don't care about.
First
you
of
don't
all,
care.
you wouldn't
I
need
wasn't
cheap
done.
labor.
That was the
Okay.
middle of my sentence.
You wouldn't need
That was the
cheap
middle
labor.
of that was the middle of my sentence. They want that cheap labor, so they're lobbying who? Republicans. They're lobbying your people so that they can keep doing this. Now you can answer.
You wouldn't need cheap labor if you got rid of everybody and got people off of welfare, and people actually
Dude, there's 11 million jobs in this country right now that are unfilled. If you
and there's
got
7
rid of
million
hold on,
men sitting
hold on,
at home.
Hold on.
7
If you-
million.
It's
7 million people like yourself.
Okay, then that
sitting the fuck at home doing jack shit.
Josh, I'm doing this. Appreciate it though. And I
You
I
mean
appreciate- and I
you're just
appreciate you-
hating on, bro? You're hating on America,
No,
bro. That's all
no,
you're doing.
What I'm doing,
You're
no,
sitting at
Josh,
home and you
Josh,
hate America.
Josh,
At least
Josh,
we
hold on
understand
real
how the
quick.
country and the economy works. You don't understand. You work for Border Patrol and fundamentally don't understand what's going on with immigration in this country. That's sad. Josh,
Josh,
don't
I know
be
you're-
mad at us.
I know you're new
Listen,
to my
guys,
Josh,
you
no,
guys,
no,
you
no,
guys
no,
are
no,
new
no,
to
no, no,
this.
no, no,
You
no,
guys
no,
need to
no.
be able to vet people here. If
Josh,
you can't
we
vet
already
people,
agreed with
you're
that.
going to let
Stop.
terrorists in the country. Do you not believe that a terrorist hasn't already came in?
Josh, nobody's arguing that. That's called a straw man. Nobody is saying that terrorists haven't come-
186
Josh,
people
Josh,
on the terrorist watch
Josh,
list this year
Josh,
have been caught.
Josh,
186.
Josh, we know
Just
that.
FYI,
Josh,
people,
Josh,
you might want to wake
Please
the
stop
fuck up.
listing statistics of
Josh.
people who've been caught.
Everybody knows that, and nobody's arguing that. So shushies for a second. You haven't been here probably many times, but there's a theme on this show. It's happened multiple times. Some of the best moments we've ever had on this show is law enforcement coming up and showing that they don't know a goddamn thing about how our country operates, how the laws work, how the military works, how our constitution works.
I was
It's
in the
funny.
military
Nope,
too,
that
man.
wasn't done. It's always some guy in law enforcement that sounds vaguely racist, loves Donald Trump, always a white guy. And you know what? It's always talking about the southern border. We're always talking about that southern border. I don't know what it is. I don't know if the police academies are just failing you, if Border Patrol is just failing you, like they never teach you anything about the Constitution, or if those organizations like Border Patrol and the police departments just attract fascists. And I haven't figured out which one it is. Either their training isn't good enough, or they know they need fascists to fill their roles, so they don't tell you about it. But either way, you, Josh, are a fascist, and you know nothing about freedom or the Constitution. You're just scared of immigrants. That's it. Your entire life is fear.
I don't know anything about the Constitution.
Correct.
About the rule of law. I know that people.
Well, you didn't understand free speech at the beginning. We had to teach you all about
you
the
don't
Second
understand
Amendment.
the
Remember
law,
that?
dude.
Remember when we
You
had to
don't-
teach you about the Second Amendment? Then remember when we had to teach you about what the military is allowed to
What about
do
the Second
inside of our
Amendment?
country? Do you remember those two things?
You mean it's not the military, bro? It's the National Guard.
That's the military. Why
guys
did they
are
report?
stupid.
Why did they report to the Army General?
Do you think the National
No,
Guard is the
answer the
military?
question.
That's
no,
how
again,
stupid
Josh,
you really are.
Josh, again, we don't answer questions with questions. If they're not the military, why did they report to the Army General?
Why are you asking me
Why
questions?
are you asking a question again? Answer questions. Don't answer questions with the question.
Do I get to answer? Do I get to ask any questions? Any?
Yes, after you
Or
answer
is it a
questions.
one-sided shit show?
Why don't you bitch some more? But answer the question and then you.
I
can
mean,
ask your question.
seriously, you guys.
I know
listen,
your feelings.
I know your
big
guys'
feelings, Josh. We get it.
You
Oh,
guys
can
are
I
your
answer the
feelings,
question
dude.
for Josh?
You're having-
You
Okay,
guys
I'm on the
can't
Army.
stand Donald Trump because you think he's a fascist. He's not a fascist.
No, I think
You don't
you're
know
a
what
fascist,
fascism
Josh.
is. That's we don't know if we have time to teach you that too. But the Army National Guard website under FAQs, frequently asked questions, Josh, it says the National Guard is a unique element of the U.S. military that serves both community and country. So we can move on from there.
Keep reading.
We can move on.
It
Josh.
just said. Wait, read the first sentence again. One more time, Felice. Read the first sentence
The
again.
National Guard is a unique element of the U.S. military. Why can we move on?
Keep reading.
For what? It just
Josh,
said
don't
there,
ever
keep-
order me to read as if I work for you.
You guys are fucking stupid, honestly.
Josh,
you guys are
you-
just playing
Somebody
stupid and
is.
playing on words.
Somebody's
You guys are just
confused
stupid.
up here.
Yeah.
Somebody, one of
It's
us
us.
is. You have a 33% chance it's you.
That part you read there,
Okay.
Felice, where it was like, it's part of the military. That was so stupid how when you read that it was part of the military, you thought it was part of the military.
So
You
can
idiot.
they
Police.
respond to things in the United States?
What's that?
Can the National
No,
Guard
you don't get to
respond
ask questions yet.
inside
You're not there yet.
the
I'll
United
tell you.
States?
Listen, the
I'll
answer,
tell you.
Josh, the answer is they can do both, right? The National Guard can be called up, but let me read this just so we can. The National Guard is a unique element of the U.S. military that serves both community and country. The Guard responds to domestic emergencies, overseas combat missions.
That's what the border is, a domestic emergency.
Well, I think in this case they're referring to what you were talking about, natural disaster relief.
No, domestic
No, listen.
emergency.
Let me because you won't listen, Josh. I'm going to tell you why I know you were wrong because you won't let me finish my sentence. So, domestic emergencies, talking about national disasters, overseas combat missions, where they can do combat missions, and counter drug efforts, which would be the border. But you didn't let me.
Which
get
would be
there
law
because
enforcement, too,
you
wouldn't it?
won't let me talk.
Which would be
But
law
right now, Josh,
enforcement,
we're
too.
talking about the National Guard. I can't. Okay. Anyways, let's just move on. Let's just so we don't have to do this later. Let me just read this part. Any state governor or the president of the United States can call in the National Guard in a moment's notice. Guard soldiers hold civilian jobs or attend college while maintaining their military training part-time. Guard soldiers' primary area of operation is their home state. Thank you.
Go ahead, Josh.
I would say you guys are very smart. You guys are very smart. You guys play on words. It's okay. But it does does say all those things.
That's what
It
he
does
came
say
up with.
well, I gotta go because I actually have a job. So
No,
I'm just
what
trying
you
to
do- yeah, go have fun.
but-
Why are you trying to insult us,
You
Josh?
potato.
But the funny thing is you said drug ops, which is law enforcement, right?
yeah.
Can we go ahead and agree that
No,
drug operations is law
I'm reading
enforcement?
off the National Guard.
Can we go
the
ahead and
National
agree
Guard's
on that?
website
I mean,
about the
drug
definition of
enforcement
what
is
they
law
do.
enforcement.
I'm just reading
Can we agree
off
on
the
that?
National Guard's website about
Okay,
what
so
they do.
let's agree that the National Guard can and will use law enforcement to secure the border.
No.
Why?
So if you remember when they were called to the border before, and James Mattis explained how it went. The National Guard will perform many operational support functions, including monitoring cameras and sensor feeds, to assist with overall situational awareness. They will provide much needed
It's an
aerial support.
emergency.
Oh, I'm not done, dude. Jesus. I'm reading a quote. Shut up. We will provide much needed aerial support and anticipate they will help with repairing roads and vehicles, among other duties. Most importantly, the Guard will immediately expand our capabilities on the border, which will increase the effectiveness of our law enforcement operations. They can only be used as a support role under the Department of Defense. That's it. He explained that. And if, like, I'm sorry that I think General Mattis knows better than, like, dude who didn't understand the First Amendment. My bad.
Okay. You guys can make fun of me all you want.
I am making fun of you because you're so sure about things that you're so wrong about. And this is what concerns me about people like you. This is what concerns me. Listen, I live in Arizona.
And I'm going to tell you and the people on your live right now.
No, you're not.
We live in an actual border state. This is not. I mean, you are protecting the northern border, and we appreciate it. But we're in the trenches,
12,000 people a day.
Right. Yeah, this isn't an opportunity for you to monologue again, Josh. Here's the thing. Like, if you're not going to... okay, Jen got rid of him. Here's the thing about you, Josh, and I hope that you're still here. The problem that we have is that our law enforcement is full of people like you. And I don't mean people like you in any other way other than saying, you guys have never admitted you were wrong in your life. You think that you can do no wrong. You think that that badge and that weapon give you intelligence. It doesn't. It gives you authority. And unfortunately, you guys abuse that authority. And I'm afraid that there are people like you in law enforcement. You just advocated for rounding up and putting in detention centers 30 million brown people in this country. 30 million. And sending them back anywhere. It doesn't matter how they got here. It doesn't matter what age they were when they were here. It doesn't matter if they're working here. It doesn't matter if they're committing crimes. No. The mere fact that they exist makes you so mad that you're willing to put them in concentration camps and then throw them on buses to countries where they may or may not have any connections whatsoever. Yeah, dude. You guys are all fascists. And it's not surprising that because you're fascist, you like Donald Trump and you don't realize that he's also a fascist. You're just walking around with the blinders on, dude.
Can I say something?
Say so many things.
Okay. I just want to say also, like, in a selfish way, if it doesn't appeal to you, like, you know, human decency and that type of thing about the inhumanity that was just being described. And that was, by the way, the problem with the executive order, the Remain in Mexico order. It violated all sorts of human rights violations. Like, the point of someone being able to make an asylum claim is primarily safety. They're a danger. We can't jettison them into a no man's land known for cartels where they're trafficking women, children, and all sorts of things. So yeah, it was a human rights violation. But if that doesn't bother you, what you need to understand about the 10 to 30 million people who are somewhere here illegally, they're part of our economy, right? These people are paying into Social Security, paying taxes. They're doing jobs just like we described that a lot of Americans don't want to do for whatever reason that is. So to delusionally say, oh, day one, let's just get 10 to 30 million people out of here. Logistically, you cannot do that. That makes no sense. There's no due process in it. I mean, it's illegal. The judicial branch that Josh knew existed, that was good.
I was
know the
he
three
got
branches of government. Yeah, he knew that. So yeah, like that, it's not allowed. But most important, like, if you care about, like, Americans, you don't want your life to change. You don't want gas prices to go up. You don't want to be uncomfortable. Well, an exodus of that size, people doing jobs that need to be done in this country that other people don't want to do, we are going to collapse our own economy.
Yeah, we couldn't sustain that. It would bankrupt our country doing that. But Josh would be happy because there would be less brown people, or at the very least, those brown people would be in concentration camps, which would also probably make him very happy.
But that's why, thank you, Sue. I love those shooting stars. But that's why we need a path or something. Whether we're talking about citizenship, that's kind of that would be farther down the road, but to work visas, right? Able-bodied people who want to work, who want to pay into Social Security, and benefit our country, benefit us as citizens of America, and do the jobs we don't want to do. We have to find a way to get these people the work visas they need. And in doing so, also, because I do agree with Josh, there is an immigration crisis in this country, right? We need to be able to vet people. And if we're providing, if you're an able-bodied worker who's doing a job no one else wants to do, and you want to pay taxes, you want to pay into Social Security, we should get them a work visa, get their information so we can vet them.
Yeah, well, why this idea like the amnesty is so bad? The only real opposition to amnesty is we don't actually want these people in our country. That's the real opposition, because the opposition they'll tell you is, no, we have to make it fair for the people who did it legally. It's like, yeah, but like if you do amnesty, then this problem ends. Like this problem is so big at this point. There's no other solution but amnesty. And Republicans, for as long as I've heard them speak, they're like, well, that's not fair. Okay, it's not. I agree. It's not fair. It's not fair that people came here through and didn't go through the legal process, and they're here and there's people waiting. It's not fair, but it's the smartest thing to do. It's the only sensible thing to do. It's the only way forward. So what do you want to do? You want to cry about being fair more, or should we just like do the right thing? Mr. Listener, welcome. Sorry, I muted you. Just had a little background noise. That's why I muted you. Are you there, Mr. Listener? You should be unmuted now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
All right. So I just wanted to say, like, okay, so why aren't you scared? I mean, we've had border control measures for as long as we've been a country, and since Biden has been in place, they've just all let him slip. They don't give a fuck. Why is that not a concern?
Well, I think that our interpretation of what's happening is very different, and I think unfortunately in America, like our media is not very honest with us, and certainly our politicians aren't very honest with us. You and I can both agree that the people coming to the border we've never had a problem like this in our lifetime. We've never had this many people showing up to the border, right? I think we could both agree on that. And we both agree that's happening under Biden, and that Biden's administration hasn't handled it well, right?
Right.
Okay, but what we really should, if we want to solve the problem, we probably should understand why there are so many people at the southern border. I think that's the part where most politicians... Hold on. I think that's the part where most politicians start lying, because they don't want to be honest about why there's people at our southern border. They'll say things like, oh, because they know the border's open, or they know Democrats will bring them in because they want to replace our vote. But there's a very real, very trackable story as to why these people are at our southern border. Have you ever looked into where these people are coming from largely, and why?
I mean, a lot of it's from South America. I've heard rumors. I don't know the truth, but I've heard a lot of things like they've literally emptied out prisons and sent those people here. I mean, that's a huge concern. And I think preventative...
Can I ask you just a question about that? That story in and of itself, there's hundreds of thousands of people. What percentage of those, like, how many people did they have in prisons?
Probably not nearly as much as America.
Yeah, like not even.
We have 25% of the world's prisoners here.
Right.
Other people are not detaining people in other countries, especially not third world countries like we are. And that story has been debunked. I personally fact-checked that story. So that's actually not true. So just the thing about they're emptying out the prisons and the mental institutions, that has been fact-checked. You can Google it yourself. It is not true.
Okay, but you guys are on TikTok, right? So you surf around on there. You see videos. Do you see these videos coming up in your feed where they're interviewing some of these immigrants, and basically these are people that were they were enticed to come here by the UN, by the United Nations, and they've all got these United Nations debit cards, so to speak, and basically they've been told that once they get here, that they're gonna, go ahead and add funds onto those cards and stuff. These guys are coming here. A lot of them.
Let me ask you a question real quick.
Let me say one more thing though.
About that story. I just want to clarify. I want to make sure you're saying that there are interviews of people. They're saying that the UN is sending them, and the UN is giving them money. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Keep going then.
And in addition to that, I mean, it's like alarmingly all fighting age males. Why is that? Why? I mean, if there are countries in torment, you send the women and children away. You don't send the men away. The men stay and fight, right? So why are they sending all the men here?
Wait, but hold on. Here's the part of the story. This is how people narrativize things to scare you. Are any of these countries that these people are coming from, like for the most part, are these military men? Are they coming from military conflicts? And if they are, like, do they have a military beef with us?
Well, so these guys that have the UN, and I've seen like 3 or 4.
No. Let's wait. I don't just do me a favor. Try and answer the question that I asked though. Are these people coming from countries that have like a military beef with us?
I would say there were, with the sheer number of them, they would have to be, because they're coming from all over the world.
Okay. So wait, hold on. So I just want to ask you.
That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. What does military-aged men even mean? Why aren't they just saying men? Why do you think instead of saying men between the ages of 17 and 35, why do you think they're not telling you the age range and instead using the term military-aged men? I'll tell you why.
No one's telling me anything.
How many friends?
That's just my observation.
Yeah. Are you between 17 and 35?
No.
You're not? Okay. Let's pretend. Go back to when you were 32 years old. Just think about your friend group. Let's say you have 20 friends. How many of those friends do you think were in the military? Out of 20 of your closest friends, how many of them are military? How many?
Like 1.
Okay, so if you guys, like, let's just say you guys decided you were going to go to Canada, and the 20 of you showed up, and they said, look at this, it's 20 military-aged men coming into Canada. Why do you think they wouldn't just say, like, there's 20 men coming into Canada? Because they're trying to scare you. They're trying to make you think. They're trying to make you. Yeah.
I think they're trying to scare you. Like,
wait,
I think that people are generally
trying to scare me?
more.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying the people saying military-aged men are trying to scare me?
Yeah, because
I'm not afraid of that. I see through it. I see what they're doing. They're trying to make you think that this is a military invasion. They don't want you to They don't want you to view any of these people as people who are fleeing something that is bad for them. They don't want you to see any of these people as victims. They need you to see.
Why are only the men fleeing? Why
there's
only men?
Women, brother. I don't know if you've watched the videos. Like, your algorithm and your feed is going to show you just the men. There are women and children crossing the border every single day. There are families. But a lot of times when people are coming across the border and it's just a man, if you look historically, if you look at legal migrant labor, because that's the only one we can track, but people who come here that live in Mexico but come and they work here, they send almost all of their money back to Mexico. Because the dollar goes a lot further there. So a lot of these people have no prospects for a job. They don't necessarily want to uproot their entire family and walk across the desert. So they will walk here, risk their life so that they can come to America, make money, and send it back to their family. Now, I'm not saying every single person crossing the border has those intentions. I'm not saying that some of them don't have bad intentions. What I'm saying is your algorithm and your newsfeed only tells you the stuff that's supposed to scare you. They're never like, look at this guy coming here. He walked 800 miles over 2 months so that he could get to America, make enough money, and send it to his family because his children are starving. That's not the story they tell you. It's always scare, 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 scare. And in a minute,
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Does does America handing over its power and its sovereignty to the United Nations, does that not concern
That didn't
you?
happen. That didn't happen. What are you talking about?
It's happening.
It's not
all the time.
It's
It's
not
constantly happening.
Wait, how? How?
Through treaties.
What
You've gotta
treaty?
read
Wait, what treaty?
just about every international treaty.
Bro, we're in the UN. We wouldn't have a treaty with the UN. What treaty are you talking about?
Give me a second here. Having a brain fart. There's multiple treaties.
Okay, well, one, it should be, could you just explain what the treaty says, if you can't remember what it's called?
Okay, well, actually, let me just give you an example right now with the World Health Organization.
Well, that's not the UN. Wait, hold on. No, we're talking about the UN.
It's all under the UN. All those blue and white flag organizations.
No, brother.
The United Nations, the World Economic Forum. Why do they all have the same exact flag? They're all related. They're all working towards the same goal.
Let me tell you something. This is just a tip from somebody who's been down the alt-right pipeline, who's somebody who used to believe this shit. Here's the thing. None of that stuff is true.
Why don't you...
No, I've read it. Listen, if you think for 1 second that Felice and I don't know all of these stories and haven't checked them out, we do. I promise you, dude, if you are reading stuff and you're not a foreign policy expert and you're reading something and it makes perfect sense to you because it's written out so simply, it's not true.
What about the secret treaty of Verona?
No, wait, no. See, this is what we had a problem with the last guy. The hard part in having these conversations, specifically with like Trumpers, is that every time we debunk something or we make a counterpoint to you, you say, what about, and you move to the next subject. Do you,
well,
like,
no, we're talking about treaties.
No,
we're talking about treaties.
Hold on.
And I'm
hold
telling
on,
you, do
hold
you
on.
know what the secret treaty of Verona is?
Hold on. Intellectually, do you think like we should have that conversation, or can we proceed going forward? Because Felice has a lot of information, but she gets really frustrated when people don't answer her questions. I'd love to have a conversation with you. I'll go quiet. But
no, I don't want to talk about this actually. But I just want to say about the UN. Like, if you understand how the UN works, if you're gonna keep up at night worried about a conspiracy, don't worry about the UN. We're a part of it because we control it, right? The only part of the UN that matters is the Security Council, and we are one of the 5 permanent members with veto power, right? Like, the United States controls the UN, so don't worry your pretty little head about that.
But do you know where the UN has its roots? Do you know how it started?
Hold on, dude. Here's the thing. Like, you didn't address what she said. You just did another whataboutism. This is, I promise, this is how you're conditioned to react to things when you're like just a conspiracy theorist. You don't have to know much about anything. You just have to know there's all these things. Like, let's go back to, what'd you say, the secret treaty of Verona? Is that what you said?
Verona.
Verona. Verona.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me about it.
So, I mean, that's basically the grassroots of starting the UN, where all these European countries got together and decided that they were going to undermine the power of America through infiltration. This is in the congressional minutes. This is in the congressional minutes from like 1916. It's actually, they brought this up in Congress, and it was a concern that basically these countries were trying to undermine us and invade us from within, because that's the only way they could take us out, because they can't take us out by sheer firepower, by showing up. They can't do that. They have to.
Can I tell you something?
It has to be done with pen and paper.
You got to calm down.
Let me help you with this. The secret treaty of Verona, often cited by historians and statesmen as proof of the autocratic and aggressive designs of the alliance, exactly what you're talking about, this is all backing you up, is now known to be a newspaper forgery fabricated by the Lisbon correspondent of the London Morning Chronicle. The treaty, dated November 22, 1822, purported to demonstrate that the continental powers, with the connivance of the papacy, plotted to overthrow of representative governments and the freedom of press throughout Europe. After the appearance of the document in the Chronicle on June 11, 1823, Marcellus and Wither immediately labeled it spurious and apocryphal, and many contemporary journals followed suit. Later, anyways, it's fake.
Okay, now what about...
Wait!
When
Stop!
they talk
Stop!
about it...
Stop! Hold on. This is crazy. This is where I get so frustrated with you.
One thing says it's
Is
fake
there
and you're
any,
done, you give
wait,
up.
hold on.
I mean,
Is there any part of you that is going to stop for a second and be like, wait, why did they lie to me, and why did I think that was true? Like, why the
Nope.
fuck, and why did it not just bother me that I found out that they were lying to me? Why am I just moving on to the next thing? It's because you don't, it doesn't seem like you care about the truth. You want to be right here. I'm saying the first thing that you've brought up so far was fake. Why do you think that you learned that?
so everything that's
No,
fake.
why do you think, no, you got to answer the questions. Why do you think you learned that?
Because I researched it.
Why didn't you know it was fake?
Why is it in the congressional minutes in Congress? Why
can
is it
literally-
in the on the document? Why
Mr.
is
Listener,
Congress
Mr.
talking
Listener,
about
you
it?
can, Mr. Listener, I hate to break it to you, but a lot of things that aren't true make it into the congressional minutes every fucking day. Being in the congressional minutes does not mean that it is true. In fact, Congress has rules to protect themselves for saying things that are untrue, called the debate
Speech and debate
clause. Yeah, dude.
Okay, so
your
let's
sources
pretend
aren't good. It's wait, hold on. Just let me. I just am trying to help you so that in the future, when you source things, this was fake. And then you decided that it wasn't fake because it was in the congressional minutes. But none of that adds up to it being real. Just because somebody else mentioned it doesn't make it real. That's how these conspiracy theories get so whacked. Like, you can't go further than this. You can't now move on to the next thing and be like, oh, this
Who
also
controls
proves
that narrative? Who controls that narrative that it's fake? Who's
Bro,
I
wait,
mean,
what?
It's the people.
See, and now
it's the
here's the
people
other
that
part,
they're talking
Mr.
about.
Listener,
It's
Mr.
literally
Listener,
the
Mr.
wolf
Listener.
Is saying the wolf is saying to you that it's fake, that he eats sheep.
But but hold on,
do you
Mr.
see
Listener.
that, though? Do you see
Mr.
that?
No, hold on, no. The thing is about conspiracy theorists is, and I'm gonna help you with this. Who does control it, Mr. Listener?
The media. And
Who
who controls the media?
Wait, hold on. Because I'm gonna ask very
Democrats.
specific
Who
questions
controls
now.
all big business?
Wait.
Democrats.
I'm gonna ask very specific questions now. Who in the media controls it?
The media is basically a big conglomerate. I know you
Okay,
guys
but
have seen those videos where
wait,
they're
but-
all saying the same
but
thing on
who's
40
no.
different news
I
channels.
understand that. Who's controlling the media? Like who is it? Is it a group of people?
The people that control the money.
Okay, who are those people?
I mean, it probably mostly stems to like Rothschilds and Rockefellers
Rothschilds.
and those family groups that control the
Probably
money,
or it
that
does.
control
Wait,
everything.
probably or it does.
Well, you're not going to find a fucking what is it? A fact check that says yes, this is how it is, because obviously that can't
So there's not a
happen.
fact. Wait, so there's
it's
not a fact
impossible.
check. Wait. So then, how do you know the Rothschilds are controlling the media?
Because big money controls everything.
No, that's just a nonsense. Those are just weasel words, my friend. How do you know the Rothschilds are controlling media? There's a lot of people with more money than the Rothschilds.
I don't think there's anybody on earth with more money
Listen,
than the Rothschilds.
the Rothschilds' fortune is mostly broken up into, like, at this point, literally like hundreds of people. And they all disagree on a lot of things. The Rothschilds themselves are not the most wealthy people on the earth. The Saudi princes are. But anyways, how do you know the Rothschilds run the media?
I'm not saying the Rothschilds run the media.
Okay,
I'm
well,
saying,
if it's not
I'm
the
saying
Rothschilds, then
the
who
people
is it?
who control the money.
Okay, who controls the money?
Nobody knows. I mean, you can
Can
say
I-
the Federal Reserve.
wait.
You could.
But
say
you
the
knew the
Federal Reserve.
Rothschilds. You knew the Rothschilds.
Mr.
Because
Lister,
that's where it started. I
See-
mean, if you look back in history.
No. When did it start? How do you know it started with them controlling the media? What media did they first start controlling, and how did they expand that power into all media?
I don't know, but it's obviously there because they all say the same fucking thing.
So-
it's like there's only one source for everything. You can see it. You can see all the news is the same. Every channel, they're all saying the same thing at the same time. It's all centralized. You can see that. You don't need to know who it is, but you can definitely see that it's coming from one source, right?
We don't do just narratives, but let me give you an example of this. Let's just say you and I are strangers, Mr. Listener, and we basically are because we just met. It's nice to meet you, by the way. And I come to you and I have this book, and I walk up to you and I'm like, hey, dude, I have this book, and in this book it explains how right-wing media is running the world, like, and it's controlled by the people with the money. What would be the first question you asked me if I said, let's say I'm saying Donald Trump is controlled by dark money? What's the first question you'd ask me?
Same question.
Or just any
you're asking
question.
me. Like how can
Like
you
what?
How can you lay it out? Like how can you show me?
Okay.
Like
Okay.
right?
Well, it's the whole. It's all right wing media. It's the whole thing. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows. Everybody knows the right wing media. Everybody knows the right wing media is controlled by the people with money. They're controlling Trump. The people with money are controlling Trump. What's your next question?
Well, of course, I would ask you to quantify that.
Okay, well, no, it's just
but
like,
you're looking for
wait,
quantification.
no, dude, because the internet's
you're looking
no,
for
the
a
internet's
source.
not going to say it. The internet's not going to come out and admit it because they're afraid of the people with the money. They're afraid the people with the money will come down on them. So the internet's not going to say it. Like, they're bought and paid for too. They're also bought and paid for by the right wingers that are controlling Donald Trump. These couple of people with all the money. They're not going to let that out on the media. They have all the money. They have all the power. But you have to believe me, man. Everybody knows. Can you look around?
Okay, can we agree
Look
can we
around.
at least
It's
agree-
happening right in front of you. If you can't see it, you're blind.
Can we at least agree that the Democrats are in
No,
control
no,
of
no,
everything?
no, man, no. Do
Why?
you understand? No, we can go to that next. I'm not letting you change the subject. You understand that my argument makes no fucking sense, right? And it would be stupid of me to believe that, right? I can tell you Donald Trump's controlled by people with money, but I can't tell you who. I can't tell you why. I can't tell you how they do it. I just am telling you that there's somebody out there with money controlling.
Everybody's being controlled by money.
Yeah, do you see how dumb that is? No, you see how dumb that is?
It's true, though. They're all controlled by money. Donald Trump,
See,
too,
that's
I have
the
no
thing.
doubt.
See, now here's the other part. Now that I've shown you that it's stupid, instead of recognizing, oh yeah, my argument has absolutely no backing, I'm now going to believe both conspiracy theories, which definitely can't be controlled. Like, they both can't be true. Only one of those two can be true because one of them's controlling whether or not the truth gets out. So if you're saying that there's like narratives that come out, well, now we're starting to correctly identify that what you're getting is a source with an agenda, and and you don't require proof. They just want to keep feeding you narratives so that you'll believe it. And you don't require any proof at all to believe that. You've just decided that it makes sense in your head, so you believe it. And then what happens is once a political party or once
You can't see the wit. You can't.
Once a politician gets you thinking that way, they've made it. Because now anything they do wrong, you will dismiss as fake news. You'll just say everything's a lie because you've already decided that there's an evil cabal pulling all the strings to fight against you. So you're in this together. You, Donald Trump, and the rest of MAGA, you guys are all in this together, fighting this invisible cabal that none of you can tell us how they exist. Meanwhile, the people that are actually pulling the strings with the money are just like laughing at you. They're like, this is great. We have them chasing conspiracy theories while we rob America blind. While we just like don't pay any taxes, accumulate all the wealth, buy up all the land, buy up all the houses, buy up all the resources, and America's sitting here arguing about whether or not there was a secret Treaty of Verona.
You can see a leaf move, but you can't see the wind.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
No.
Okay, let me ask you
No.
this:
No,
okay?
wait, hold on.
Is Google
Wait, hold
Google
on.
a
You
Democrat
can't- wait,
company, or
wait,
are they a
you
conservative
can,
company?
Wait, hold on. You can see molecules in the air. You just can't see it with your eyes. It takes research. It takes using really, really expensive tools. It takes a understanding of science. See, all of these things that when we talk about wind, that can be explained as you go deeper. But as we go deeper on your theories, they get dumber. We just keep running into things that you can't explain. Until it ends up with the
Name a
secret
big
treaty.
giant-
It ends
name
up
a
with
big
the
giant
secret. Hold
company.
on, I'm almost done. The secret treaty of Verona is where you ended, and that was fake. We found out that your belief system was based on a fake story.
Yeah, they said that ivermectin, being helpful for coronavirus was fake too, didn't they? But it
Wait,
turned
hold
out
on.
not to be.
Come
I
back
bet
to
it
turned out
shore.
not to
Come
be.
back to shore, sir. You're too far out. You're gonna drown out there.
You guys got
really
one
just need
reference
to
from
row
one
back
Google
towards
search.
shore. That's what we're trying to tell
and your
you.
mind's made
Every
up.
time you get cornered, you go farther down the rabbit hole. Climb towards the light, sir.
Did you use Google? Did you use
Join
Google
us
to
in
find that it was
reality.
fake?
This is the thing.
Did
Yeah,
you use
see?
Google?
No, wait, Mr. Listener, we already covered this. In order for you to bash Google, you've got to tell me who the fuck is pulling the strings. Why, you've got to then explain who's telling Google to lie to me, and you can't do that. It's a dumb argument, dude. You're a grown man. You're a grown man. Stop believing fairy tales. You're a grown up. I hate to say it, and this might hurt your feelings, but fucking Santa's not real either. Not a real guy. That's a fairy tale too.
Do you know of one?
Tooth Fairy, not real.
Do you
Tooth
know
Fairy,
of one
also not real.
conservative big tech company? Do you know of one conservative big tech company? One.
No, and and there's reasons for that. You know why?
You don't. The only one you know is Elon Musk, and they're
Truth Social.
chastising him.
Truth
because
Social. Truth Social.
You call that
Rumble.
a big tech company? You call those big tech companies? Come
You know
on.
why they're not big?
They're not
Because
even.
nobody wants to be on them. It's called the free market. Pal.
Hey, I just
Your
want to tell you,
ideas
Mr.
suck.
Wait, let me, Mr. Listener, I did work in the tech industry for quite some time for one of the large tech companies, and I just want to say that, like, you have a fundamental misunderstanding of what's going on. While technology tends to be about evidence-based science, and I would say yes, there tends to be less maybe Republicans. As tech entrepreneurs get richer and richer, they do start voting Republican, right? Becoming a conservative is about amassing a certain amount of wealth and becoming tax averse, right? So if you're trying to imply that the CEOs or higher ups in the tech industry aren't certainly voting in their interest financially, I would say that you are probably wrong, and that goes on a case by case.
So how come they're all Democrats? How come they're all Democrats? But you just said yourself earlier
They
in your
are
program,
not.
before
You
I got
don't know
on,
how anyone
you said that Republicans are all just about money and corporations.
Is Elon Musk
and all
a
that.
Democrat?
All
No.
the big
No,
corporations.
that's what I'm trying to make the point.
Yeah,
Elon Musk is a Democrat
That's the
now?
one. Congratulations.
Well, wait, but hold on.
That's
Here's
the
hold
one.
on, hold on. Most of our country doesn't side with Republican. Like an overwhelming majority of our country doesn't side with Republicans on social issues, right? Most people think that the social issues that Republican politicians stand on are too far right. Most of the country doesn't like that. So if you are a CEO of a tech company and you are making billions of or millions of dollars, or you're the owner of a tech company and you're making billions of dollars, and you know that it's important for you to keep people that don't have conservative social values on your platform, then you're going to cater to them. This is capitalism, dude. At the end of the day, every one of these guys is a capitalist that, just like Felice was just saying, they just want to make money. The smartest thing for them to do is to not have right-wing white nationalists on their platform making everybody else uncomfortable.
At a moment in time.
Wait.
I
was almost there. I was almost there. I was almost there. It makes the most sense.
Not in the 50s when the internet didn't exist, Mr.
It makes
Listener? Yeah.
It makes sense for them. That's how they make their money. If you run a social media platform, you cater to the masses, not the minority. That makes no sense.
They're catering to the World Economic Forum because they have set out standards that they will withdraw
It's
funding
Ethan.
if the companies
Ethan.
are not buying in. You think Bud Light wanted to lose all their money because?
Wait, hold on. Shush. Prove it. Prove that they are taking orders from the World Economic Forum.
It's not that they're taking orders.
So what are they
that
doing
the
then?
rules have been set up in a way that if they
what
don't
No,
comply
Mr.
with their
Listener,
agenda, that they're not going to get funding.
Corporations are doing capitalism. That's what you're not getting. And corporations are answering to a board and to their stockholders, publicly traded ones. And what they are doing is they are creating, specifically social media companies, because it seems like that's what you're obsessed with. They're creating environments in which corporations feel comfortable funneling them billions of advertising dollars. That's what it is. They're creating environments where we, the people consuming content, will spend the most. It's called time spent on page, right? That however many seconds, every second longer people stay on this page right now, there's more potential to run advertisements against that time and produce a privatized profit. You're thinking too much into this. Corporations are doing capitalism.
Okay, so why are they basically blocking and censoring conservative opinions?
I just
Because
answered.
Why are they all doing
Wait,
it?
because advertisers don't want to advertise on a platform with neo schmazzies. The thing that you have to understand, Mr. Listener, and please listen to this part, please, for the love of God. If you go through, pick your favorite right winger that was silenced on Twitter, and go find the tweet that got them banned. I promise the tweet will not be, "We need smaller government. We need to close the border. MAGA 2024. I love Donald Trump. Lock her up." Anything about Hunter Biden and his legal cases. They're getting deplatformed when they say racist, bigoted things because advertisers don't want that on their platform. And then here's the part that you've got to figure out for yourself. When these people get deplatformed for saying racist and bigoted things, do you think it's more likely that they're going to come out and say, here's the racist and bigoted thing I said that got me deplatformed? Or are they going to come out and say, they just don't like right-wingers, they're after all of us? How many times have you heard Donald Trump and right-wingers say, if they can get me, they can get you? I got news for you. They're not coming for you. Until you're an open schmazzi, until you're out there threatening the lives of others, until you're just openly a bigot on the internet, nobody's coming for you. And
Nobody came for Nancy Pelosi for inciting riots.
Hold on. And they are co-opting you into their bigotry by you defending private institutions saying like, no, we don't want bigots. This is why conservatives, you guys get upset, but this is why you get called racist and bigots and fascists. It's
why
because
are you
we
a
don't.
bigot for border protection?
Hold on. I'm explaining. I'm not even calling you that. It's because it's hard for us to decipher which one of you are the bigots, because every time a bigot gets in trouble, you guys defend the bigot, and it gets very confusing for us when we're like, wait, why are they defending the bigot? Why don't they just say, yeah, that was bigotry, he's not a Republican? So it makes it really difficult for us to understand which of you guys are bigots and which ones aren't.
It's very general and very stereotypical.
I said that. That's what I just said. I said it's hard for us to tell because you guys always defend bad behavior. So it's really hard for us to believe you if you say, like, I'm not racist, but I'm defending a racist, or I'm not a bigot, but I'm defending a bigot. And you say it's about free speech, but it's weird.
It's hard for us to tell, you know, who thinks, we should just be a humanitarian and let a bunch of immigrants in, and who is undermining.
You got to respond to what I say first, and then you can do yours. This is how, Mr. Listener, like this is, this is how discussions go. Discussions aren't meant for two people to just talk about whatever they think about and not respond to each other.
Correct.
So respond to me without a whataboutism, please.
But that's what you just did to me.
Well, do you understand how... No, that wasn't a whataboutism. A whataboutism has to be a response. What I was saying is, do you understand, like, for me... Like, for example, when Nick Fuentes got canceled, Nick Fuentes is, like, an open admirer of Schmittler. He says anti-Semitic things all the time, and that's why he got banned.
I don't even know
Then I hear right-wingers defending him, and then I see him at dinner with Trump. So, does Trump having dinner with him make him a white supremacist? No. But does it mean that, like, at the very least, he's not...
I don't even know where people get the idea that Trump's a white supremacist.
Hold on. Just keep listening, Mr. Listener. So when I see that, it's hard for me to make a... Like, I can't confidently say, nah, Donald Trump's not a white supremacist because he's sitting there at a private dinner with a white supremacist. So I'm like, all right, well, at least there's some doubt there.
Well, I can
right? That's fair. If you saw your wife out with like a handsome guy at a nice dinner, would you not be like, all right, well, I at least got it. Now I at least have to think about it.
Trump
Is
is a
she
white
cheating on me?
supremacist because he sat at a table in a public event with one?
Wait, hold on, Mr. Listener.
Come on.
No, hold on. first of all, make sure you listen when I speak. A private dinner. It was Nick Fuentes, the schmatzy, Kanye West, while he was on his anti-Semitic tirade, and Donald Trump. Those were the three people at a dinner. It was not a public dinner. It was not an event. They came to see him, and they had dinner with him. Just those three.
So it's a racist meeting
an anti-Semite
with
in
Kanye
Kanye
West.
West, an actual neo-schmatzy, and Trump.
So why aren't we calling Kanye West a racist?
I am. I call him that all the time. He does not like Jewish people. He's very anti-Semitic. That's
Well,
I don't know if you know. That's why, like, he lost all his sponsorships because he's an anti-Semite.
You've seen like the 5 or
Wait,
6
do you
different
not know that
occasions
he
that
lost all
Biden
his
has said the
Wait,
N-word
hold on.
You've seen that, right? Like,
hold on.
You
hold
know
on,
that.
Hold on. Do you not know that he lost all his money because he's an anti-Semite? Do you not know that?
No. I could give a
Okay,
shit
well,
less
he was
about
going
Kanye
around
West.
saying, praising Schmittler. He was going around saying that hold on, just wait till I'm done. He was going around saying all of our problems were caused by Jews. He's anti-Semitic. It's okay.
He's semi-right because it's Zionists, not Jews. People get those confused, but it's actually Zionists creating the money system and all that are basically, creating the whole problem. They're the ones that have the control. It's
So
not Jews.
So one of the things that Schmittler did, because again, if we're talking about
he was
hold on,
scared of the Zionists too, I understand that.
whoa, that was the middle of my sentence once again. Let's not do that. One of the things that he did when he started rounding up Jewish people is he said it's not all Jews, it's the metropolitan Jews. The metropolitan Jews are the problem.
Oh, I'm Jewish, I'm very aware.
Wait. So then, once they started rounding up Jewish people, then it was like, oh, we're going to get all the Jewish people because we don't know who's in on this together. Right?
Exactly.
This is how propaganda works. When you want to be a bigot, you can't just come out. No bigot ever comes out and just says, I hate Jewish people because that's just like how I think, and you'll never change my mind.
And right now,
all Republicans.
Hold on.
They
Instead
always
of being
say,
all Jewish people. Right now in our time, it's all Republicans.
Hold on. I was almost done. What they say instead is they say, I only hate these type of Jewish people, and then these type of Jewish people are exactly what you just explained. They're running the monetary system. Yeah. You're like, this is bigotry, dude. This is anti-Semitism. And I don't believe that you're an anti-Semite. I don't believe you have a problem with Jewish people. But what I'm saying is sometimes we can regurgitate rhetoric that we don't know has its roots in anti-Semitism. And so again, that's what I'm trying to say to you, is that I believe you have the right intentions, but a lot of times maybe the reason that Republicans get called bigots is because they repeat things without understanding necessarily like where that started and what does that mean. What you're saying is very anti-Semitic, whether you like Jewish people or not. What you're saying has roots in anti-Semitism.
Exactly. You're 100% right. And just for the record, I am Jewish. But the Republican and the conservative treatment that's going on where you are lumping them all together is the same damn thing.
Wait, Mr. Lister, I feel like you're purposely going out of your way to misunderstand me. What I've said repeatedly is I don't know if Republicans are racist or bigoted. It's almost impossible for me to tell because nobody ever comes out and just says, I'm a racist, I'm a bigot. They just say racist or bigoted things. And so it's hard for me to tell because there are many people in the Republican Party, and I can, as a former Republican, as somebody who said a lot of things that were racist, that at the time I didn't understand were racist, I know what this is like. But when you repeat tropes that are based in racism, it's impossible for us to know, are you racist or are you not? We don't know because we can never tell what's in your heart. But if you're reciting things that are anti-Semitic, it's hard for me to be like, they're good. They're good. These are just their thoughts.
Absolutely agreed. But with the same flip side of the coin, we can't tell who's trying to undermine the fabric of America and who's just a Democrat.
Hold on. But see, that's the problem. What do you mean by undermine the fabric of America? I'm a liberal, and look, I would support. I'm not a socialist, but I would support socialism. What things do you think us liberals are like advocate for that undermine the fabric of our country?
Okay, well, here's the easy, cracker box. The Second Amendment. If you read the Second Amendment, okay, I'm sure you know what it says. Can you
I'm pro
recite it?
Second Amendment. I'm pro Second Amendment.
Okay, so how is it that they're making laws? If you read the Second Amendment, you cannot even make a law about it because it cannot be infringed. That means no minor encroachment whatsoever. But they're
let's be
doing it.
Wait, hold on. So we have to.
They're pushing
wait.
for it.
As two people who agree that the Second Amendment is important, we should also be able to agree on what the Second Amendment says. And what conservatives regularly do is they leave out the entire context of the Second Amendment. Just to be as quick as possible, the Second Amendment was written and designed for people in a militia to have weapons. And over time, we have adjusted the meaning and we have adjusted who could have guns or weapons. At the time, it was only white landowning men, and then it was only militia members, and then it was only just white people, and then you know what I mean. And like women finally got the right later. African Americans got the right later.
Are they people? Are they people?
Yes, but what I'm trying to help you understand is that the Second Amendment was never. It wasn't written in a way that's like everybody gets to have weapons and there's no restrictions. That's just not what it says.
Are you familiar with the Federalist Papers?
I am familiar with the Federalist Papers.
Okay. Do you know what?
Can I ask you a question? Just real quick. Do the Federalist Papers, do we use those to determine our laws?
The Supreme Court uses them to determine their decisions because those are the thoughts behind
they use
amendments.
some of the Federalist Papers. They'll also use other writings from other founding fathers, right? And the reason that they do that is so that they can get context of why they were thinking certain things, right? That's the whole point.
Right.
Exactly. Okay, well, we do know, we have all the records. At the time, there was not I've read the Federalist Papers. I don't remember it saying we're going to give it just to the militia first and then eventually we'll roll it out, we'll give it to women, we'll give it to former slaves.
That's because historically the
that.
militias were slave patrols. Do you understand that? That's what this was originally about. This was to bring runaway slaves, African American slaves, back to the plantation
but
they had
nothing changes
escaped
the
from.
fact that it says people.
Okay, but let's just be clear about what this is about.
Yeah, but you're talking about still the same thing. We're talking
trying
about
to tell
who are
you
the people.
African American were 3/5. So you know what I mean? If you want to talk historically, speak correctly about who was included. Who, white male landowners? Isn't that what we're really talking about?
Well, no, they were discluding they discluded people who weren't white male based on the Constitution itself. But later that came into being
So they. Let me just simply instead of going through the history, in the most simple way, when the Second Amendment was first put into place, were there restrictions on whether or not people could own guns?
No.
Let's try that again. When the Second Amendment was put into place, were there restrictions on who could and could not have weapons?
Not that I'm aware of.
Could women have weapons?
I've never been privy to that.
No. Could people that weren't in a militia have weapons?
Again,
no.
I've never researched
The answer
it.
is no. Could black people have weapons?
I'm guessing no.
The answer is no. Yeah. So at the very beginning, the very first iteration of the Second Amendment was far more restrictive than any policy any Democrat has ever advocated for. The very beginnings of the Second Amendment were far more restrictive than anything we have now.
They didn't write
the NRA
white
has
men.
done the NRA has done a remarkable job of convincing you guys that the Second Amendment meant that everybody gets unlimited access to everything. They've done a great job, and they've got us to a point where, yeah, you do pretty much have access to a weapon as long as you're not like a felon or you live in like a really, really blue state where it's difficult. But for the most part, you have access to that. That's a win for the NRA. You should thank them for that. But you can't in the same breath say that everybody gets weapons when the original iteration of it meant like only very few people had weapons. Very few.
Well, I prefer to go by what it says, not necessarily.
Do you want me
just
to
what
read it to you?
Means.
Do you want me to read it to
I know
you?
it doesn't say white men; it says people.
A well-regulated militia being necessary. You left that part out. So here's what we're talking about. This introduces the subject. If you've been through English, but introducing the subject to this sentence, a well-regulated militia. Okay, that's who we're talking about. We're talking about a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. Yet we got to have it to keep our state free. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now I see what you're saying there. You're like, oh, the people, and so we'd say, okay, did they mean all people? And then we can go back and look at history and we can decide, oh no, they did not mean all people. In fact, they meant a very limited number of people, because when this law was put into place, not everybody, not the right of the people to keep and bear arms. No, it was only for specific people. So if we read it exactly as it's written, and then we look at historical, we don't have to guess here. There's no guess, there's no opinion here. We can read what it said. It was talking about a militia. And we can go back to when it was implemented, and only some people got weapons. So the fact that everybody in this country has the right to own a weapon is more progressive on this than originally even set out, right? It was only the militia. So we've already gone way past what the founding fathers intended with the Second Amendment, which is fine.
Okay, but where we started this whole rant was basically when I said the undermining of the fabric
That's right.
of America.
So where do you think Democrats are trying to take away your guns? Where are we doing that?
They're trying to restrict. They're not
Where?
trying to take away because they can't.
Where?
And they know they know
where?
they can't. But they put.
Wait, where? Don't just
Like
tell me what we're. I know what we're thinking. You don't
Okay,
need to tell me what we are thinking. Because you
like
don't know.
The Brady
You're not
Bill.
one of us.
You heard of the Brady Bill?
The Brady Bill?
So they put these bills through to get everybody worried that they can't have any weapons.
That was in 1993, dog. Could we update our? Can we update? That was from 93.
You're so scared. You're worried about. You're so fearful of so many things.
It's 30 years
What
ago.
am I fearful? I'm not fearful of
Everything. Immigrants and
shit. I'm not worried at all.
Oh, I mean, you're terrified.
That was 30 years ago.
Okay, but what about? I mean, Biden basically ran his campaign on banning assault weapons.
No, he literally did not.
Well, I can literally fucking quote you that he said, when I become president, I will ban assault weapons.
He said he would sign an assault weapon ban, but what does that mean?
It's unconstitutional.
No,
why are Democrats
wait,
always trying
hold on,
to
Mr.
subvert
Listener,
the Constitution?
Mr. Listener, hold on. You have to understand the language that he used. He did that on purpose. He said he would sign an assault weapon ban. What does that mean? What would he be signing? A ban, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
where would that have come from? The thing that he's signing, the piece of paper, the bill that he's signing, where would that have come from?
Congress.
Correct. Congress has the authority to change the laws.
But
So
they
that
don't
would
have
that
the
would
authority
have
to change the Constitution.
Wait, no, it
as
wouldn't
sits.
change the. Wait, but hold on. It wouldn't change the Constitution. The Second Amendment would remain intact. It would change how we interpret the Constitution. We would not change the wording in the Second Amendment. We would not get rid of it. We would just be changing how we interpret it, which is what we've been doing for years. Every time we've expanded gun rights to people, that has been an interpretation of the Second Amendment, because clearly the Second Amendment was not set up to give everybody weapons. So when he says, if something comes to his desk, and he says, I'll sign that, then yeah, that means that it went through Congress, it went through the Senate. That means it's probably overwhelmingly popular in the United States. We the people can change that. We can change the Constitution anytime we want. You know that, right? As long as we do it the right way, we can change anything we want in the Constitution.
Yeah, but interpretation is subject to bias.
Yeah, all interpretation is in every way. But that means every ruling. When they gave women the right to own guns, that was bias. Yeah, of course there's bias. It's not a perfect system, dude. We live in a system where we have to interpret things. We have a living, breathing Constitution. We have to debate things. There's going to be opponents on both sides, And then we have to understand that if it goes through Congress, goes through the Senate, the president signs it, and the courts don't overturn it, it's law now. That's the way our founding fathers set it up, because they knew intrinsically that there was going to be stuff they didn't understand. They needed a constitution that could be amended. Like if we're going to talk about that, like at least can you understand where we're coming from when you look at the people that want to do something about guns? And by the way, my solution to gun control is universal health care. So if you want to get on board with that, that'd be great. I think that would fix a lot of the problems. But like our country has the most gun violence in the world. The number one reason kids are unalived is guns. Like
I don't think that's true.
Do you want to look it up?
Oh, it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. It's not open to interpretation or whatever you're talking about. That's actually a fact. That's a
even
fact.
If it is
So
true,
listen,
even if it is
Mr.
true,
Listener,
50% of those are
Mr.
suicides or
Listener,
accidents.
Okay.
Mr.
not
Listener, this is going to
murders.
come as a shock.
So-
It's not drag queens reading stories to children. It's actually guns. That's what's unaliving children. And you, the party of what about the children? We need to save the children, are doing nothing for the children. And this is going to come as another shock. Gun control, right? Making it more difficult for people that shouldn't have guns to get them is an 85-15 issue. That's why he's saying he would sign an assault weapons ban, because 85, do you know how rare it is in this country to have an 85-15 issue? They don't exist. It's like a unicorn.
Do you
may
think
wanna
that was
explain
the
Are
same
on the
number?
wrong side of
20 years
common
ago?
sense gun control.
Before
No one's
we
trying to take
started,
the
it was-
Second Amendment. No one's trying to take the Second Amendment away from you, although we absolutely can amend the Constitution. But what we are saying is common sense gun control, you, sir, are on the 15 side of an 85-15 issue.
How so?
85% of the country supports stricter rules on accessing specifically.
And what do you think
things-
that number was 20 years ago?
It was much. Like the 15 would have been a lot higher. The 85 would have been lower. But the
Right.
problem is that we keep seeing. And here's the part. Like, if you could get yourself out of your own mindset, which is difficult, it's hard to do. But just imagine you're somebody who owns an AR, let's say, and you're an advocate, and then one day like your child's part of a tragedy, right? I think any parent, any grieving parent in their right mind would say like, yeah, look, I understand the Second Amendment, but I don't.
So for
I don't
every other
hold on,
threat we
dude,
have-
you just wait, just please wait. You have to understand like the plight of the American people. We're tired of
understand.
we're
I'm not
tired of.
unsympathetic.
Hold
I
on,
get
hold
it.
on, hold on. You don't understand because I haven't finished yet. You literally don't even know what I'm saying yet. The American people are tired of seeing gun violence followed by thoughts and prayers. The problem the right has is they claim that they care about children, and they also claim that they care about weapons. I keep saying the wrong word, but they claim that they care about both. Meanwhile, they won't invest in mental health. They won't invest in school resources for children for mental health. They won't invest for adults in universal mental health care. They won't make it easy for people to get access to mental health. You know who has problems with mental health a lot of times? The poorest people among us. They can't afford to go pay for mental health treatment. We have to, first of all, get rid of the stigma that going to get treatment for any mental health condition that we might have is a problem, because we all have mental health problems. We all do. We have to, one, stop stigmatizing that, but two, we also have to invest in it. Republicans will do nothing. They won't help in any way to fix this problem. All they ever say is thoughts and prayers and don't come after our weapons. And that's how this number got to 85-15. Because there's enough people in this country who left this position you have and said, you know what, enough is enough. I don't care. Do I really need an assault weapon? No, I probably don't need that. It's never going to come up. If the government wants to come take it, they're going to be able to get it. There's no way I can fight against them anyways. So how about we stop unaliving children?
How come the answer to every single threat is to bulk up on arms and protection, except for when it comes to the kids? How
What are you talking about?
If there's some threat to our country, we're going to bulk
He thinks
up
we
our
should arm
security.
the teachers. He's
We
one
should
of these
arm
arm the teachers people.
every-
He's trying. He wants to arm the teachers.
Brilliant. It's brilliant.
As a former teacher, no, none of us. It's not. No, that's not a suggestion.
Says
Why
who?
not invest in mental health?
Increasing the number of weapons around children is not the answer, sir.
it would decrease the number of mass shootings. I
You
guarantee
don't know
it.
that. Wait, you don't know that. Remember in Texas
It
when
would
the
decrease
cops,
the severity
remember in Texas when the good guys with the weapons sat outside and didn't do a goddamn thing? Remember that?
I do remember that.
Yeah, you do. There's no proof. It's just an anecdote. But either way, even if that's what you want, why? And nobody else is going to follow that because you guys are 15%. No, you're not going to get that done.
Why is it the government's solution for a threat, but it's not the government's solution
Hold
for a
on.
threat
I
to
wasn't
kids?
done, dude. I wasn't done. Why can't you guys just agree to invest in taking care of people's mental health?
I don't have a problem with that.
Well, why does your party fight it?
Do they?
Yes, they never fund mental health, ever. They do not want, because they're afraid of the word socialism. If we pay for the mental health of people who can't afford it to try and reduce violence, that's socialism.
I don't see how any of it matters. I mean, it's not coming out of anybody's pocket. It's just increasing debt, which doesn't fucking matter.
You're ignoring the no. Come back to me. Why don't Republicans ever support that?
I don't know, but I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Want me to tell you? It's an 85-15 issue. 85% of the country agrees we should do something about it. But every one of those Republicans has their pockets lined by the NRA. That's how a 15% issue can't be touched in this country.
Wait, you're
That's
lumping
why
mental health
we can't do anything because the NRA has bought and paid for all of the Republicans and a couple Democrats.
But what does that have to do with? What does the NRA have to do with mental health?
The NRA will not allow any bill to even come up with the idea that guns are a problem. And Republicans won't vote for mental health care because they are too afraid that somebody's going to accuse them of doing a socialism. Your whole party is just afraid. You're afraid of you're afraid of the word socialism. You're afraid that that the government's going to come and take you and that you have to have these weapons in order to fight the government. Like every belief that you've espoused today is just a fear.
When did socialism ever work out?
All the time. When did capitalism ever work out?
Our whole entire world's built on it. What are you talking about?
Our entire world is
Nothing
not
gets
built on capitalism.
Without it. Nothing gets
well,
built without
bad
it.
news, dog. Felice is about to eat your lunch. Felice, can you explain capitalism and socialism?
I don't really want to, but that's not what's going on, sir. Like the whole world wasn't built on capitalism, right? Like that's just a recent thing as of like the 1600s in Great Britain, right? Socialism.
Well,
There's many
I would
socialist
argue
programs
that-
around.
I would argue
You can't
that the
argue.
world has
You can't
been-
argue the world was built on capitalism. What are you talking about?
It was invented in the 1600s, and it largely wasn't like put into play until the 1800s. Like it was like low scale capitalism until the 1800s. It's relatively new.
And this is the issue with you trying to make that statement, right? Like capitalism, the world's built on capitalism. No, listen, Mr. Listener, because what we're talking about is equality now. We're talking about equity, and that's what you don't understand. Capitalism, right? We could have the #1 GDP in the world, right? Yay, United States, #1. But we still have 11+% of our population below the poverty line because the problem with capitalism is that it doesn't it creates the same amount of inequality that the feudal system did. That when we were working the land for kings and queens, that's the problem. It was supposed to create equality and give everyone a chance, but still the same people with capital, with startup money, the billionaires, right, are using our labor, collecting a surplus, a privatized profit, and living off of it. We are still slaves by definition. Capitalism didn't fix the problem it set out to fix.
Oh, I muted you. Sorry. You're gonna have to unmute. I may have to send an invite. Sorry about that.
Hello? Oh,
Yeah, there you go.
yeah, sorry, I guess it got turned off. What I was saying is, so basically, under the idea of socialism, is you want everybody to suffer, whereas in capitalism, at least the people who are willing to work for something can prosper.
That's
You read,
absolutely not true. So that's what you think.
you
That's
think if
not,
the
that's
government
not.
has complete control and
Okay,
everyone
then
just gets a
explain to
check
me
from them,
what
then there's not
social,
going to
can
be
you just explain
suffering?
to me what socialism is then?
Socialism is basically when the government has complete control over everything, and you're essentially it's almost like a beehive or something like that. Everybody just becomes a worker bee, and everybody gets the same pay and this and that, and everybody's just demoted to be the same. But the people who are in government will be rich and they will be living luxurious lives, but everybody else will suffer. At least with capitalism, someone who's willing to put forth some work can gain some prosperity.
Okay, sir, that's not what socialism is. You're talking about a fascism, maybe authoritarian government, a dictatorship,
Maybe an oligarchy.
an oligarchy,
Yeah.
crony capitalism. You
So
never even
if they're
left the
supplying you
neighborhood
with your
of just
means,
corrupt capitalism.
if
You
they're
you
supplying
don't
you
even
with
know
all
what,
your means, your housing, your food,
Mr.
and
Mr.
they-
Listen, hold on, hold on,
they're in
brother.
total control
Brother,
of
hold
you.
on, hold on, brother.
How could they not be?
Hold on, brother. Because here's the problem. What you've been fed is the propagandized version of socialism. Let me explain. Do you have a job or you work for yourself?
I work for myself.
You work for yourself. Okay. Have you had a job where you didn't work for yourself?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Socialism is basically you go to work at that job and you own your production, meaning that you don't just have necessarily a set wage, but the value that you provide to the company is what you get, right? It's a meritocracy. It's the
And
same.
so does your
Hold on,
coworker.
hold on. It's the exact same type of thing you guys are arguing for in every other part of society. In socialism, it is possible to be very rich. In socialism, it is possible to be poor. What's not possible in socialism is to be so poor that you can't live somewhere, that you don't have any food or medical care. That's really the only difference. But there are socialized countries in this world that make on average more money than us. There are socialist countries in this world, many socialist countries in this world, with a much higher freedom index than us. Socialist countries in this world, many of them have higher life expectancies. They pay, even though they pay through their taxes with for healthcare, their take-home pay on average is higher than Americans. The lie that you've been sold is that socialism doesn't work and that socialism means government control. And the people selling you that lie right now are giving tax breaks to billionaires. And not to demonize the billionaires, I want to put this like as simply as I possibly can. In our country, the way that our economy operates and the way that we protect ourselves is the circulation of money. And because we all want to be valued for our work, historically, the reason capitalism worked for so long, or at least our version of capitalism, is because the money was always circulating. You couldn't just buy up all the assets. But through generational wealth, through tax cuts, since the 80s, as we've deregulated businesses and given them breaks on their income taxes, we've seen the rich get richer. And now we're looking at a scenario where somebody like Elon Musk could buy up entire states of land. They could own everything. Nobody would ever design a system where one person out of 350 million could own like 20% of the land. That's a bad system. So when Democrats advocate for things like social safety nets, we're not advocating even for total socialism. We're advocating that we use social policies as a check against unchecked capitalism. The only way to fix the problems that we have now is we have to extract wealth from the top and set a baseline at the bottom, a baseline that people can't go under, and then we can expand the middle class again. But the problem is, when we used to do it in America, when the middle class was huge, and all you had to do to get your American dream was wake up, go to work every day, and you could support your family. And some people had better jobs, and some people could have a lake house and a boat, and they could go on vacation, and they could retire early. And some people worked till they were 65. But all of those people could afford a house, and all of those people could raise a family. We're no longer in a country where everybody can buy a house and everybody can raise a family, even when they're fully employed. There are areas in this country you can make $200,000 and not buy a house. And yes, I do know why that is, and I don't think you do. The reason is wealth inequality.
No,
No, the reason. No.
God.
The
Nope.
reason is wealth inequality.
the reason is fake money.
No,
the reason is inflation.
wait,
Oh, dear
wealth
God.
inequality. Wait, Mr. Listener, let me now explain this to you. You're right. That's what makes wealth inequality. Example: COVID, when we had all the government was pumping money into our economy. Right? You remember that?
Yeah,
Sending out checks to
the
everybody.
The Fed was
Yeah,
pumping
okay.
money.
So you remember that.
Yeah.
So where did most of that money end up? Whose pockets?
At this point, I would say Ukraine.
No. That's one of the dumbest fucking things I've ever heard.
Really?
People were not taking their stimulus checks and sending it to Ukraine.
The stimulus
We're talking
checks
about
didn't
stimulus
come
checks.
from your
So
taxes.
hold on.
It came
No,
from borrowed
dude,
money.
dude, no, stop. That was dumb. Don't double down on that. Maybe you're lost on what I'm saying. I'm talking about the money, the checks that we all got, and then we spent the money the government gave us. The money that we spent, where did that wind up?
Mostly in our economy.
Mostly at the top. The 1% had the largest transfer of wealth in the history of our country. The rich got richer, and what that did
Boom.
is it should show you, Mr. Listener, is that our system is designed to trickle up, not trickle down. We saw an example. It was the purest example we've seen of let's just put some money in and let's watch exactly where it goes. We put the money in, it all went to the top. And did they trickle it back down? They did not. Our system
I
is
agree
broken.
100%.
So that's all we're advocating for as Democrats, is fix that system. You can't just hoard all the money. It can't
Redistribute the
funnel
wealth.
Trickle up.
That's what we want. We want a fair system, even for you Republicans. We even want it for you. If we got our way, you would all thank us. You would still shout socialism at us, but it's the only way to fix this problem, dude. There's not a different way to fix the problem. You can't tax less to fix the problem. The system is broken. It funnels the money up.
I agree.
And when there's less money in circulation, right, there's scarcity, and then we move to the unfun stage of capitalism called late stage capitalism. And you know what happens when there's scarcity and people don't have resources, and you're saying this, you've been saying this whole time, like something's wrong. I know something's wrong. I feel it in my bones. Something's going on. Something is going on. We're in late stage capitalism, and because we're all getting so restless and being like, there's not enough resources, I'm not making enough money, like goods and services cost too much, I can't live like this, then we have to move to authoritarian fascism because you can no longer control the masses because we're so unhappy. So then we get converted into a cheap and slave labor workforce. That's what we're trying to say. Something is going on. There's a consolidation of wealth at the top of the economy that's not being recirculated.
Am I the only one hearing your words twice? So hold up, got a technical difficulty.
Just swipe up on the app, click into a different app, and then come back. That should fix it. I'm not going to say it this time. Thank you. Nailed that.
Okay, I'm back. Got me?
Yeah, so I know that you don't like the government putting money into the economy, and I don't either. So what Felice is saying, like in the simplest terms, is that because all the money goes up, and because we don't tax it and bring it back down, or because we didn't put a stop to get it from all trickling up, we only have one option, dude. If we don't tax the rich, if we don't cut out their loopholes, if we don't fix our system that funnels the money up, eventually, like you said, and you're right about this, we won't be able to print money anymore. Our money will be devalued. You're
but
right.
You think that 90% of the problem is the printing of the money itself?
No.
That's the problem.
No. This is the part that you're missing. That is a problem. But the reason we're printing money, the reason that we keep printing money is because our system is broken. All the money goes to the top. It doesn't circulate. If we printed money and put it into circulation and it kept circulating through the economy like it's supposed to, we would never have to put more money in. This is the part I don't get with Republicans. You know this. You know that that we keep pumping money into the government. And you should at least recognize also that although Republicans are the loudest about not printing money, they always vote to print money anyways. So they say one thing, but they do another. And the reason they do
it's
that...
really a uniparty when it all comes down to it.
The reason they do that is they understand that our system is broken, that they have to keep putting money in. Otherwise, the people at the top will have all the money. And exactly what Felice said, imagine if we stopped putting in money and it went all to the top, we would all just basically be owned by one of those rich people, right? We would be at their mercy, right, Mr. Listener?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So if we stop funneling money, we're going to be in an oligarchy. So, and we both agree that at some point we have to stop funneling money. But we know if we stop funneling money, we're in an oligarchy.
I agree.
So you can either double down on Republican. So your two options as a Republican are oligarchy or keep printing money. Or we can fix the system, tax the rich, close the loopholes, and I mean tax the fuck out of the rich. Income tax at 90% after $10 million. Get that money circulating. The middle class...
The Founding Fathers knew this problem. The Founding Fathers knew this problem, and that's why they specified that all money must be gold and silver. That's where you
right
where
with
the problem lies.
Right, but we already correct. We went past that because we printed new money, and because the reason they wanted gold and silver is because you can't print more of it, right? So you know what's in circulation. But we already did this. We've left the gold standard. We can't go back to the gold standard. It's impossible. We can't make that transition. But what we can do is see, you guys go to the gold standard because again, Republicans can't admit that capitalism is broken. So they can't tell you the solution that makes the most sense.
I can admit it.
Okay, well then the solution that makes the most sense, let's agree on this. We can't go back to the gold standard. We can't stop printing money in this system. So we have to fix the system. We have to tax the rich. We have to cap the income. We have to drive that money back to the middle class and to everybody and to the poor, right? That money has to
go back to gold standard. I mean, really though.
We don't have the gold for it. It's impossible. And by the way, if we went to the gold standard now and we just took all the money and we put it back into our system is already, like, everybody at the top would have all the wealth still. It wouldn't change anything. They just would have gold instead of dollars.
But the people at the bottom, their money that they're holding would go up in value.
They don't have any, bro. They don't have any money.
Whatever they do have would go up in value instead of
most
down.
Americans don't have $500. So if you switch to the gold standards and said, come turn in all your money, and Americans are like, okay, here's $500. There's all my money. And a billionaire's like, do you have a dump truck? Because I have $400 billion worth of gold I need here. It wouldn't work. The sensible solution is to fix our system. But you guys are being told that means socialism. And again, MAGA, why are you afraid? You're afraid of the word socialism. When what we're really talking about is advocating for the middle class and fixing a broken system. All the things that you care about, we actually have solutions for.
I would argue that you're just really afraid of the word control. It's not so much socialism or capitalism. It's just control. And we see that there's more control with
hold on.
socialism.
But you just agreed that if we don't change it, we're going to be controlled by the oligarchs. Would you rather be controlled by tech billionaires than a democratically elected government?
And that's the problem.
No, answer that question. No, I want you to answer that question. Would you rather be ruled by 10 oligarchs than by a democratically elected government?
I'd rather not have two choices because
which one do you have? Well, sorry.
That's the problem. Is everything is divided into one or the other.
Bro, we have a constitution. This is a country. There's a government. The government exists. They have the control. We gave them that control on day one, July 4th, 1776. They've had that control since we formed this country. Stop pretending that this is like that you're ever going to be in a scenario where the government has no control. They will. Again, you're avoiding the fucking question. Would you rather be ruled by 10 oligarchs or an echo? What would you rather be controlled by? A democratically elected government or an oligarch?
If I have to choose between those two, I would say a democratic government.
Okay, well, those literally are your choices, my friend. And if you stick with the Republicans and you stick with,
but you don't think
taxes,
there's any oligarchy?
Wait, hold on, not in the middle of my sentence. Not in the middle. Wait, just wait till the middle of my sentence. If you stick with the Republicans who are advocating cutting more taxes, deregulating, pumping more money into the economy, drill baby drill. By the way, if they drill oil, that money is all going to the oil billionaires. Just so you know. Like, that money just is going to circulate right up to them. If you follow Republicans, you are just saying like, yeah, bring on the oligarchy.
Well,
We've spent an hour now.
Whether
You
we drill it or
understand
not.
what?
We're still using the oil whether we drill it or some other country does.
That's not what I'm talking about. You understand that being a Republican means you're like pro-oligarchy, right? You've already agreed that those are the options. We fix the system or we get ruled by an oligarchy. And you said you want to fix the system and be run by a democratically elected government. So you don't have a choice here. This is why this choice to not vote for Republicans is so easy. Because Republicans are literally voting for the most transparent demise of our society as we know it in existence. And they have convinced you that we are the radicals, that we are the ones that are going after this country and trying to... No, we're not trying to fundamentally change it. We want to fix it. We want to undo the wrongs that we've placed on this country. We want to fix a broken economic system. But your party...
Is it not the right of the people to abolish the government that doesn't serve them correctly, which is what we're all saying, right?
Where's that right?
It's in the Constitution.
What part of the Constitution says you can abolish the government?
Or sorry, Declaration of Independence.
Was the Declaration of Independence... Wait, first of all, there was no country when the Declaration of Independence was written. So what are you talking about? Again, wait, but hold on. You're just avoiding
really
it.
The founding
no, but here's the thing, Mr. Listener. I think you know that you're stuck. And I think you know you don't have an argument, and so you're trying to find new ones.
I don't have a solution, and neither do you.
And no, I do. I do have a solution. We have lots of solutions, and Republicans are going to tell you all of them are socialism, so you have to be afraid. Universal health care would immediately raise 50 million Americans out of poverty. Immediately.
But
universal basic
comes
income
with more control, though. It comes.
No,
with
it
more
doesn't.
Control.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Government post. They'll just abolish your credits. I mean,
no, that's not how this works, dude. That's not how this works. Universal health care, Medicare for all, is basically that you go see whatever doctor you want, and instead of at the end of that appointment you getting a bill, they send the bill to the U.S. government, and the U.S. government pays it through our taxes. That's how we have the 18th ranked or 13th ranked best health care in the world. All 12 countries ahead of us have universal health care. They pay less. They have better outcomes. They're better in every way. They are better. Literally, the United States.
One correction on that.
No, don't tell me wait times. Don't tell me wait times. Oh, I knew where you were going, huh?
No.
Okay, what were you gonna say?
It's not the tax money that funds it. It's the borrowing from the Fed, which is the WF, which is the World Economic Forum. Medicare for all. The way that it's set up, it's completely funded by new taxes. Completely funded. So that just...
It's a great bill.
So it's not borrowing. No, we won't borrow for it. It'll be paid for.
By us.
Yeah. Or you can be in
an oligarchy, or you can
wait. Is it more? Are you more concerned about having to pay for healthcare or being in an oligarchy? Which one sounds worse to you?
Again, being in an oligarchy, but
okay. So again, great. Let's not be in an oligarchy.
Okay, but that's where it leads to.
No, it doesn't. No, wait.
If everything's free, who's going to have a job? Who's going to do the work when everything is
It's not free, dude. Hold on.
What are you talking about?
By taxes. It's not free. It's literally paid for with money from taxes.
And
it's
taxes
not
come from what?
free.
Taxes come from what?
People.
Taxes come from what?
People
doing what?
Work.
Okay, so when these things are coming for free from people doing work, you're going to have less people doing work because more stuff is free.
How come that hasn't happened in any of the countries that have socialized healthcare? How come that hasn't happened in any of them? Why hasn't that ever happened?
I don't know.
Because you're being sold fear. You've been told that if we give free healthcare, everybody will stop working. Why? Because your party doesn't have any fucking real answers. It's just fear this, fear this, fear this, fear this. Every response to anything we've said today that would help this country, you bring up something we should be afraid of. But you don't know why.
If I gave you
You've just been
$10 grand
told
a month,
that.
would you stop working?
No, wait, hold
No,
on.
listen, stop. No, that doesn't make any sense. Stop saying that.
If you don't have evidence that universal health care will make people stop working, then why did you say it?
I have evidence that universal healthcare and universal government
No,
sponsorship
no.
leads to losses of
this
freedom.
Is so slimy. Be more honest than this. If you have
wait,
no
let me say
evidence
something.
that universal
Can I say
health care, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I just want to say, like, this is the thing. Let's just say you love capitalism. You're into this. You like working for an oligarchy or like overlords, capitalist overlords. Okay, doesn't it make sense then if we're doing this and we all have to work every day until we die? They're talking about telling us to forego college, work 5 years earlier, and work 5 years later. That's the new thing now that is being talked about in the Republican debates. So if that's our life, wouldn't it make sense if our whole job is to fuel capitalism and produce a surplus and privatize profit for capitalists? Wouldn't it make sense that we could go to the doctor for free? Wouldn't it make sense to keep your workforce healthy? What doesn't that make sense? And this is going to come as a shock to you, but preventative healthcare, the reason that universal healthcare works so well in these other countries that have a higher freedom index or higher on the human development index than we are, is because preventative healthcare, getting diagnostic checkups periodically, is cheaper than the American healthcare system, which is based on catastrophic events. We wait until we're so sick, we're in the emergency room. That's much more expensive. What universal healthcare does is allow Americans to take care of their mental and physical health in a preventative way, to stop crises from happening, to stop emergency rooms from being overloaded. This is how we save money. And it helps our economy because we're
also
keeping
how you get
our
mandated
workforce.
healthcare.
Stop. We're keeping our workforce healthy. That's how people remain working, not stop working.
I agree that that's the idea, but the reality is not that. The reality
what's
is
the-
You're
reality
outside of reality, sir. We're telling you this is already being done, and what you're claiming will happen is not happening. So that is not the reality. Stop saying reality as if you're in it. This entire conversation has been us poking holes in your delusions.
Like, can I ask you why are you digging your heels in so much here when like if we're just being honest, and look, we do this every day, so it makes sense that like we've had this discussion
me
before.
personally,
That was not
telling
that
you,
was the
I'm
middle of
answering
my
it.
sentence. I haven't finished asking
I'm
the question.
I'm just starting with the first question.
Hold on. I'm just asking why you're digging in your heels so much when you don't have any facts to back up anything you've said.
Who spends the most money on prescription drugs in the world? What country?
Us. Do you know why?
Who has the worst health in the world? What country?
Not us.
Well, pretty fucking close.
No, not even close.
Absolutely not close. What are
yeah?
you talking
We're
about?
like in the top.
Grab your Google. Grab your
You're just
Google.
saying things you think are truth.
We're in the top 10 as far as like the health of our citizens. What are you talking about?
We have 500,000 prescription related deaths every year.
Wait, and let me.
So you
here's,
think the government
hold on,
imposed healthcare with mandates
Hey,
is gonna cure
hold on.
things?
Hey, hold on. Listen to this. Do you know why we have so many drugs? You know why we have so many prescriptions? Wait, yes. And you know what happens when you take away Big Pharma's ability to control what is prescribed?
Yeah, you probably have health and prosperity.
Exactly. So guess what? Part of universal health care is we don't let these big pharmaceutical companies bribe doctors and hospitals to overprescribe their drugs. And we set a cap on how much they can earn off of their drugs. The reason we pay 4 times more than every other country. You know why? Because their country negotiates as a whole. When you go to England and you say, I have this ED pill that I want to put out there, they say, great, we'll pay $3 for that. And then they're like, no, we want to charge $8. And they say, cool, get fucked. We'll get somebody else. And you have no choice. You lose your negotiating power. But in America, it doesn't matter. You can charge whatever the health insurance companies are willing to pay. And they work the reason our costs keep skyrocketing is because pharma raises their prices, then healthcare raises their prices, then pharma, then healthcare. They're playing this game, and they just keep raising prices.
It's a valid argument.
Exactly. So let's not let people profit off of the health of our citizens. Health insurance can go goodbye. We do not need to pay people to pay our medical bills.
Is insurance the problem,
and that
or is lobbying the problem?
immediately exacerbates most of our problems in the healthcare industry. And then we go to Big Pharma and we negotiate. What's Big Pharma going to do? When we say we have 350 million people, we all negotiate as one. The price is $8. No, it's 12. No, it's 8. We'll go somewhere else. Good luck. They have nowhere else to go. The reason that we get gouged is because we let them gouge us, because we've commodified human life. We've allowed people to make money on when you go see a doctor, other people make money. That's crazy. That's so stupid. That's such a bad system that when you go see a doctor, a bunch of other people make money.
The reason I don't want to pay into it is because it's not a health care system. It's a symptom blocking system. The entirety of medicine is based on blocking your symptoms, not making sure they cure the problem at the root.
That's not true. It's absolutely not true.
You never heard the expression, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of the cure?
I've heard a lot of expressions, and expressions aren't proof of something.
Well,
it's just, you're making an argument though. Like, listen, I'll just validate what you're saying. You're making our argument for us. Yeah, that is one of my arguments about universal healthcare, and negotiating is one, is that this depends on profit. What we see Big Pharma doing, for instance, instead of looking for cures, right? They're coming up with a pill you take every day, because which one makes that company more money? Right? Privatized profit is shaping how Big Pharma, what you're saying, whether it's a cure or it's a take this pill every day, you owe us money for the rest of your life.
The lobbying from them is shaping the law.
There are 4 Big Pharma lobbyists for every 1 member of Congress. Absolutely, lobbying is a problem. Oligarchs, corporations, the billionaires are controlling the United States government right now. We have to get dark money and lobbying out of our government. As long as it takes $2 billion to a minimum to elect a president, this government is corrupt.
I agree. But
so the only way to get rid of those the only way to get rid of those lobbyists is to get rid of, first, the health insurance companies, and then secondly, because they're negotiating with the government, there's now what are they lobbying for? They're not lobbying for bills, right? The U.S. government will be incentivized.
I mean, how is lobbying even legal?
Hold on, brother.
Right?
I don't know why you think the middle of my sentences are the right time for you to speak, but it's crazy. What's the U.S. government? There we go again. That was fun. The U.S. government will be incentivized to provide us the best care possible at the best price. That now becomes the incentive, instead of how much money can we get from these healthcare companies. We're taking away the incentive to fuck over the American people. We might even be able to incentivize cures. Maybe we invest in pharmaceutical companies and say, hey, we'll fund all your research. And if you have a cure, we'll figure out a way to monetize that. Maybe we incentivize something different. But right now, the system that exists that you and your party keep advocating for is going to do nothing but continue to hurt us. Everything that you hate about our system it's weird that you hate the whole thing, but you want to keep it exactly the same. Or at least you vote for people that want to keep it exactly the same.
Yeah, we're just not going to see eye to eye on that, because to me,
what do you mean? Wait, what part of that was wrong? You vote for people. Well, what are the Republicans?
I'm talking about the issue in general.
No, I'm asking you.
Because
is your party going to fix?
So if the government provides your health care, that means they also have a degree of control over you. They might mandate certain things, like if your doctor says this, you must take this drug.
No. Wait, hold on.
How could you not have control?
Wait, hold on. What you're doing now is a logical fallacy. Just because the government controls sending a check to your doctor does not mean that the government controls your treatment.
At the start.
Not at the start.
Yes.
No, listen, brother. What is this? A fear of something that you don't know, in order for you to not fix our healthcare system. You have done nothing for 40 minutes but try and escape every argument by scaring us into something.
Name one thing that the government started regulating that it didn't expand regulations and increase rules.
I don't care if it expands regulations.
Okay,
we're not talking about. See, again, this is the problem with your arguments. They don't make any fucking sense, dude. Like, the government does expand as industries grow, as things grow. We have to have, as technologies evolve, we have to update our regulations. We should constantly be looking at regulations and changing them. That's not an argument to not provide the people with healthcare at a cheaper price. You will do anything. You will do and say anything to not face the fact that, like, you don't have an answer for any of this.
You could be a free cat,
no,
or you,
no,
or you,
no.
Or you could be the one that has to
face the
stop
fact.
by the neighbor's house
That's
for a
the
bowl of
middle
milk
of my
every
sentence,
day.
dude. You won't face the fact that you don't have an answer for anything outside of trying to scare us. You know that, right? You know that every response has been a scare tactic, right?
I don't see it that way.
Well, what did you just say? Well, if we do universal health care, then they're going to tell you that you have to take this pill.
How did the thing about the cat go? Say that again, about the bowl of milk.
I was saying, if you're a freedom-loving cat out there enjoying your freedom, and all of a sudden you start getting your milk from some nice lady who puts it out, and then she starts putting it out every day, you know, then you become dependent on that fucking milk, and you lose your hunting skills. It's just logic, guys. It's just logic that if they're going to get into it, they're going to add control, because there's nothing that they haven't added control to ever. Let me finish. I've got a problem with your logic. You're the only one that gets to finish. Okay,
correct.
Go ahead.
That's correct. I have a problem with your logic. Are you saying that if you give something to somebody, they will quit and depend on you forever?
Yeah.
Okay, because what you're saying is, in this scenario, the lady puts out the milk, she feeds the cat. The cat has now found an easier way to eat, and they stopped hunting. By the way, you're just describing society right fucking now. Most of us don't hunt for our food or gather. But anyways, you're now saying that if
and our freedoms are disappearing.
Wait.
No,
they're
that's
not.
a direct
They're
response.
not. They're definitely not. But you're saying that if we give universal health care to people will stop working? Well, how are they going to pay for their house? How are they going to pay for their clothes? How are they going to pay for their food? How are they going to pay for their school? How are they going to pay for gas? How are they going to live? How are they going to live? You can't live off of going to see the doctor. What the fuck are you talking about?
It's just a foot in the door. It's just one more thing that
the
government
scare
has control
tactic.
over.
Boom. Revert to when I don't have an answer, I try and scare you. Bro, you're a grown
Do you know why we have
you're
to have
a grown
driver's licenses?
Man. You're a
Do you know
grown
why
man
we have
and you're
to have
unable
insurance?
and unwilling to just admit that you're fucking wrong. This should
Do
be
you know
embarrassing
why we have
to
to
you.
have insurance
It should be
when we drive a car?
embarrassing to you. You
Do you
won't
know-
admit when you're wrong ever, dude. This is
do you know-
embarrassing.
Do you know why you have to have
Do
insurance
you know
on your
why?
car?
Do you know why? Do you? Yeah, here comes another whataboutism. You can't admit when you're wrong, dude.
Why? Okay, what is wrong that I said? What is wrong?
Almost everything. Almost everything
All right,
that
just
you've
pick
said
one
today
thing.
has
Just
been
pick
wrong.
Just pick one thing and
Second
show me how it
Amendment.
is
Second
factual.
Amendment.
No, if
wrong
you
about
listen, if we were having a conversation in good faith, then you would leave here thinking pretty much the opposite of every single thing that you came in
Oh,
here
you guys have
here
swayed
saying.
some of my thoughts, but you're the one who's not receptive.
To scare tactics. We're not receptive to scare tactics. That's why I keep asking you for data or for a study. But every single time I give you data,
I was trying to give you one.
I lay something out and you go, but the big bad government, not remembering that the other option that you already agreed to, you're saying we can't have this big bad government, but the other option is oligarchy. Remember? Remember that we're choosing between government and oligarchy. You've already admitted that. And you're doing everything you can to make sure that you never accept the government, and then you'll just like roll into being a serf. Just gonna be like, you're just gonna work for an oligarch. And you know what? Do you think that oligarch is gonna care more about his money or you? What do you think that oligarch's gonna do? Give you just enough that you can live so that you can come back and work for them every single day. Do they want to give you freedom? No, because capitalism doesn't really, like, it incentivizes people to not have freedom. It incentivizes people to work for the man. So when we have an oligarchy and you don't own your own house and you can't own your own house and you don't have any land and your only option is to work for that oligarch, just remember that you were afraid of the big bad government paying for your health care.
Yeah, you see only two choices there, but
You already agreed there were
I
only
see
two
more.
choices.
No,
you
I never
didn't. Well,
agreed there were only
what's
two
the other
choices.
choice then? What's the other
agreed,
choice?
I agreed with your choice if there were only two
Well, what's the other choices?
It's the right of the people to self-govern.
What's the other choices?
It's the right of the people to self-govern.
No, it's not. That's
Guys,
not,
tap
you
the
don't have
screen.
a right to self-govern. What are you talking about?
He's
What
sounding
right is that?
very
What
sovereign
amendment is that?
citizen. He's sounding very sovereign citizen all of a sudden.
Are you quoting John Locke? Shit, you don't have a right to self-govern. What are you talking about?
All men are created equal.
Now you're just saying things.
Why
that
are you
heard?
placing the government above yourself? Why
Wait.
do you think that they're your authority?
We are not. They're
Because they're-
Democrat.
because
This is
they
a
are
representative
the
God
democracy.
created man. God created man.
God doesn't
man
exist. Oh,
created
now we're on
government.
God.
Okay,
now we're on
universe,
God.
whatever you want to
Now
call
we're
it.
on. No, wait, hold on.
Do we exist? Do we exist?
Yes.
Did something create us somehow?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, we pretty much have to.
Do you know?
We exist, so there's
Yeah.
nothing that exists that wasn't created, right?
How do you know that?
That is so.
How can something exist that wasn't created?
Sounds like something my Sunday school teacher told me when I was forced into an evangelical
I'm
cult
not
as a
religious
child.
like that, but you're missing what my point is man exists through his own right. Like they say in the Declaration of Independence, we're all born
Again,
created
not a
equal.
legal document.
So how did government become above you?
What?
How did
No,
government become above you if you created the government? The
Do you want me
people
to explain
created
it? Do you want me to explain it to you?
Sure.
Okay, cool. So the government is meant to serve the people, not the person, right? It's meant to serve the masses, meaning that sometimes
It's
the
plural
government.
and singular.
Hold on, goddamn! That's the middle of a sentence again. That's the middle. The government was designed.
Because I can't wait till you
well,
get to
that
the
was the middle of
end.
the sentence again. The government.
Okay, you need more breaks
I'm
in your
answering your. I
sentences.
haven't answered
Okay.
your question yet, dude. The government was designed so that we, the people, had an apparatus for our democracy to enforce our laws, right? To make laws, to enforce laws. That's so it is against the government is above the individual, but the people, the group of people, us as a collective, have the power to run the government. We chose a governing system, meaning they have rights over us. They have rights to do things. We chose that. That's what the Constitution was. We did not say we will be free to do whatever the fuck we want at all times. Otherwise, the Constitution would have said, "Verily, verily, we say, fuck you, we'll do what we want." But no, that's not what it said. It laid out a form of government.
The
and that form
Constitution-
of government is there for laws. Are you saying
The
we should not have
Constitution
laws?
has one purpose. The Constitution has one purpose, and that is to regulate commerce, not to regulate people.
No, that's the government has multiple purposes, and they're found in the preamble of the Constitution. And
But
I'll
it's
read them to
all
you.
for
We, the
commerce.
people of the here's the purpose of the government: establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. That is what our government was formed to do. Again, you just say shit that you've heard before. How do you not know the preamble to the Constitution?
What are you talking about? We the people, dude. Fucking.
That's the preamble of the Constitution.
We the people ordain. We put into effect.
It doesn't say ordain, you
rules
potato.
for commerce.
The word ordain is not in the preamble, you
Bullshit.
potato. In order to form, we the people of the United States. I guess the word is ordained later on. Sorry, you're wrong. Or you're right. In order to form a more perfect union, here's what we're going to do: establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. That means we agree that these are the laws. That means that our government has the authority to arrest us, to imprison us if we don't keep the laws.
Given by who? Who gave them
Us,
that
we
authority?
the people. We did.
People. Just people.
That's what I said. I said that from the start.
People is singular and plural.
Do you think that, the Constitution was written by...
the singular is person. What in God's name are you saying, sir?
You all need to look up a law dictionary. Because
wait.
when you're talking about a
The
legal
law
document,
dictionary.
person
Wait.
and people are two different things.
We'll figure this out. Did one person sign the Declaration of Independence or multiple? Did one person write the Constitution or the Constitution, or did multiple? Was it a person or people?
It was people.
It was people. Okay. So, and they were saying that we, the people here in this country, and now this has been again interpreted to mean everyone. However, Republicans don't like that, but now everybody is included in we, the people, not just white landowning males. But we have the ability to change the laws, but we don't have the ability to do whatever the fuck we want. We have laws, and the government can punish us for breaking those laws. I don't like. What world do you think you live
Under
in?
the common law, the Constitution specifically mentions the common law, not statutes and all this other bullshit.
What the fuck are you talking about, dude?
We need to get you onto a raft, and we need to float you out into international waters where
The
you
Supreme
can
Court has
do
ruled
your
on
own
this shit.
thing
I
out
don't
there,
care if you agree.
and
The
nobody
Supreme
will
Court
tax
agrees
you,
with me.
sir. We just need to get you on a raft, and we need to just float you 10 miles out to sit past our land, our water. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't really want to be part of a collective. You're not thinking. You won't think rationally. You won't think logically. We've literally handled every objection you've said, and now we're in a weird semantics debate about the preamble to the Constitution.
By the way,
what is happening?
By the way, Erie Railroad versus Tompkins, Gladstone versus Bellwood, Younger versus Harris, Texas versus Pullman, New Hampshire versus Maine. All of them have broadly announced that there is no federal common law. You just said that there is common law. Our Supreme Court has ruled that was 6 instances that there is no federal common law.
No
Stop
federal
listening.
common law.
Dude, listen. I gotta tell you something. Sovereign citizens are fucking stupid. That's why they always get arrested when they try their shit. Stop listening to people who think that they know all the loopholes. They don't. They're dumb. That's why nobody follows them. So stop following sovereign citizens. Stop listening to conspiracy theories about like who's coming to get you. Just read like actual cases, actual documents, actual bills. Get out of conspiracyville. This is nonsense. You're an adult. You should not like this is the equivalent of you coming on and telling me
It's a
about
simple
how you're going to
maxim of
pull.
law
This
that
is
what
the
you
equivalent.
create,
This is
you
the
control.
equivalent. This is the equivalent of you coming on and telling me how last night you put your tooth under your pillow and the tooth fairy showed up and gave you $5. That's the equivalent of this. You have as much evidence for your arguments as I have for a tooth fairy existing. Stop it. You're a grown up. It's time to grow up. Stop it.
All right, let me dig you up a Supreme Court. Let me go down to my office here. I'll show you a Supreme Court ruling that shows you that an individual person is above the government. Give me a minute.
Looking forward to it.
Down into your office? Are you going into your bunker that you've dug? Thank you for the crown.
No, I don't have a bunker. I'm not scared, guys. I'm not scared.
Dude, everything you've said today has
Terrified.
literally been
You're
fear.
terrified.
You're
No,
maybe the most scared person I've
I'm
ever
worried
talked
for
to.
the country.
You know, I'm worried. I'm not scared.
Yeah, I'm worried.
Whatever.
You let
Kate, you're worried.
300
Kate, you're
you let
worried.
30
Kate,
million
we agree. You're
illegal
worried.
aliens in.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay. Yeah, that's the problem.
Why? For what purpose? Why
Are
should every country...
Are you finding that
I'm
Supreme
looking
Court ruling or what?
I'm looking for my notes.
I know.
here.
I know. You wanted to yell about immigrants for a second, but we're not there yet.
Oh God, come on now.
Shouldn't vote for Republicans if you think, because they've never closed the borders, they've never fixed immigration. Like it just everything you say.
You guys were all
want,
crying when Trump wanted to build a wall. What was your problem with the wall? Why was that such an issue?
Okay, I will tell you, Mr. Listener, there were actual studies done, and it showed that it's completely ineffective and a waste of money. That was always our problem with the wall, was that it didn't do anything.
Yeah, we were trying to be fiscally responsible. We didn't need a wall. We didn't. No, you guys wanted. Hold on. You guys wanted a simple. You guys hold on. Hold on. You hold on. Hold on. You hold on.
You know.
You hold on. You wanted a wall as a symbol. Ever since Biden has been in office, he has funded Border Patrol at the highest levels.
Then how come we have the highest
we have added technology. We have added more Border Patrol agents. We have added more enforcement. We have fixed areas of the fencing, and now he's even saying that there's certain parts where they are going to put some wall. Yeah, and the reason they're doing that is for efficiency. You guys are just so goddamn dumb that you think that like you can be tricked so easily. It's crazy. You're like, you guys said no wall. You're all afraid of the wall. No, we thought it was a dumb idea because the stats don't back it up. But
I thought it was a dumb idea too.
But nobody told you that.
Effective.
Nobody told you what our actual argument was. So you've just been wandering around assuming that all Democrats just want an open border. Like you don't know what you're talking about ever. You're just a product of people fear mongering you all day, and then you just you regurgitate
Okay,
it.
well, I know causation isn't correlation are all different, but the fact of the matter is, fucking Democrats came into power and more illegals jumped the border than ever before.
Did you know that this invasion, like we're calling invasion, did you know that in 2019 under Trump's presidency, the number of people at the southern border quadrupled? Did you know that?
But
did you know that?
So they were just
Did you
hanging
know
out
that?
at the southern border, but not crossing.
No, that I'm using the same numbers. These are the same type of numbers. Do you understand that? No, this is people crossing the southern border. They quadrupled under Trump in 2019. Did you know that?
Well, no, but what the fuck
No,
are
of
they
course
now?
you didn't. No,
If
of
they
course you didn't. And you know
quadrupled
why? And let me tell you why you didn't know that. Is because they've had to spin a narrative that this invasion at the southern border is because of Biden, but it started in 2019, and it started with us destabilizing a bunch of countries south of us and people being run out of their countries and they have nowhere to go. So they're coming to America because they think that they're going to get a fair shake here, because we've long been around the world talking about how free and fair America is and how wonderful it is and how we welcome immigrants, despite the fact that there's still Republicans here. We're lying to them. Until we get rid of the Republicans, they're not entirely welcome.
I like that you keep paper files. What are we reading now? The Bible?
Harry Potter.
Wow. So you're an anti-Semite for a religion? I'm not religious, by the way. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. But
Anti-Semite
what you are.
Wait, anti-Semite means that you're anti-Jewish people.
I know what it means. But it's the same thing if you hate Christians too, isn't it?
No, I don't. No, I love Christians.
No.
I just don't think that we should make laws.
Well, she
based
doesn't
on...
because everything.
What are you talking about? Hold on.
God
I was
comes
raised
up.
evangelical. I've done my time. I went to private Christian school.
Now I understand
every
why you got the
experience
damage.
that you can have. I don't even. You shouldn't claim Christianity like you said. I lived it. I was an evangelical like my entire life.
I was
know the
also
deal.
a
I've read the
Christian for
Bible.
most of my life. I bet I've read
It's
the
just
Bible
the
more
problem
than you.
is evidence-based science.
Okay,
I just
I
read
found my
more
notes.
than one book. That's the problem with
All
religion.
right, I found my notes that I was looking for.
Good. Oh, these are your notes.
Okay.
Good. Okay.
Well,
What's
actually,
the
no.
Supreme
this
Court
is,
case?
This is Supreme Court.
What
This is
case?
Julian versus Greenman.
Okay.
All right. This is a quote. There is no such thing as inherent sovereignty in the government of the United States. In this country, sovereignty resides in the people.
It's
and the
Juilliard.
Congress. You guys aren't going to let me finish. For fuck's sake,
I'm
man.
listening. No, we're listening. She said it's Juilliard. That's one of the people. She was correcting what you said. It's Juilliard versus Greenman. She was just telling you how to say the name.
Oh, well, I'm a sloppy writer, so
All right.
forgive me. In this country, sovereignty resides in the people, and Congress can exercise no power which they have not by their constitution entrusted to it. All else is withheld. All else is withheld.
What? Wait, hold on. All else what?
Any power not
What are
conferred
they
in the
talking about when they
Constitution.
say all else what?
All other powers.
Go backwards. Listen, I know the answer, but what are they talking about?
They're talking about anything not in the Constitution.
Yeah, what they're saying, yeah, so basically what they're saying is the government can only enforce things that are constitutional. We all agree with that. Everybody agrees with that.
But the sovereignty resides in the people, not the
What does that mean?
government.
Wait, what does that mean?
It means that the people are above the government.
Right, the government, the government is not sovereign. Yes, they are at the will of the people. Yeah, we already discussed this. Yes, that's why, I don't know if you know this, but that's why you vote. That's why we all vote. We vote for the people in the government. The government doesn't vote for people in the government. We do. That's what this is explaining.
But it doesn't say all voters. It's all people.
That's how the sovereignty, right? The sovereignty of the country resides with. It's just saying the power is the people. The government doesn't get to just take over. Well, besides, unless you're Donald Trump, in which Donald Trump, by the way, is advocating that he have the power and take that away from the people. Just if you were curious, but that's all they're saying here.
What power are you talking about?
Yeah, well, we can talk about that next time. I know you. I know you haven't
asking,
read.
this case is about a guy who sold 100 bales of cotton and then didn't want to accept greenback money. It's from 1862. This is insane. Just in case anyone's confused if what we're talking about is insane. It is.
And here's
Yeah,
another one for you.
it's about whether or not our money can be considered legal tender in private debts. It was interpreted as included in the power to borrow money and to provide a national currency.
That's a violation of the Constitution.
What is?
For them to create money that isn't related to gold or silver.
That's not what this says.
It doesn't say
No,
that,
I was just
though.
responding to what you said. I was just what you're.
Oh, so
sorry.
you're just saying your opinion because you like the gold standard. You're just saying
It's not my opinion. It's right there in the fucking Constitution. How is it my opinion?
Wait, no, this isn't saying that. This is not about the gold standard. What are you talking about?
I'm not
This is
saying-
about. This is
No,
about
no,
whether.
no.
No, this is about whether or not.
I'm not saying it was
This
about
is
gold
about.
standard.
Yeah. So this is about a guy wanted to pay with five. I think it was five $100 US dollars, and the person who had sold it to him said, "No, like I you can't pay me in cash." And he's like, "No, you have to. Like we bought this. This is United States legal tender. You have to take this as payment." That's what That's what this case was about, right?
The case is about the 100 bales of cotton. The guy gave him $5,100 in greenbacks in paper money, and then the rest in coin. And the guy said, "No, I want it all in coin." And they're like, "No, you have to take greenbacks as money." That's what this is about. Thank you.
Right, and
Teaching us
that would be
our daily Supreme Court lesson.
that would be unconstitutional, right? Because
Right,
all money
which is
has
why-
to be gold and silver.
Which is why Congress, and this led to other rulings, which is why Congress and the president and the courts don't directly oversee the Federal Reserve, because you don't want to give the power of the money, the currency, strictly to the government. That's why we have a
Right,
separation there.
that was their workaround, which turned out to be really bad for us. I think we can all agree on that. Yeah.
Well, two things were bad for us. That was bad for us, and unchecked capitalism. And they went together to create what we have now. And you are afraid of socialism.
I have my concerns about socialism.
Well, do you know what socialism? Could you just give me a brief definition of
Guys,
what
tap
socialism
the
is one
screen.
more
Let's
time?
get to 295K.
Yeah, socialism is like you basically summed it up pretty well when you said it's like having when you're working for a company that you own a piece of.
Yeah,
more or less.
And your concerns about that are what?
My concerns about that is that's not where it ends, because there's government and regulation above it.
No, that's where it ends. That's what socialism is. Not a form of government. Socialism is simply like an economic theory.
Okay, so then what becomes of the government? Who makes the laws
government
then?
stays the same. We're not advocating for a socialist government. We're advocating for social programs. But every time we talk about social programs, you get scared by the word socialism. I don't know how many times we have to say this. You're not afraid of socialism. You're afraid of what potentially socialism could be. It's again fear.
Leading to communism.
Every argument you've made today is what this could happen later. Okay. Well, I just explained an oligarchy to you, and you're still willing to go down that road. I'd rather live in communism than an oligarchy. Wouldn't you? Imagine that the communism
I don't
is
know,
what
that's
you...
the tough one.
No, let me tell you something you didn't know. Most of what you're advocating for is communism. You want a society that has no currency, no government, and no social classes. Do you know what...
I would say that's anarchy.
That's communism. That's communism.
That's literal communism. You just didn't know what communism was. Like I spent some time. Listen, let me explain. I spent some time in a real communist society, and it was in the Amazon, because it's got to be stateless, right? It can't be a country. It's got to be moneyless. They don't use any currency, and it's got to be classless. Everyone's equal.
You guys got to go follow the conservative immigrant on here. Go check him out.
No, you need to respond. You need to respond.
That's someone who is
you
really
need to respond.
I really
to
don't mind if he doesn't, actually.
Dude, why?
I haven't been having this conversation for him for a long time.
As a grown man, like, why can't just man to man? Why can't you answer questions? Why did you just listen to what she said and tell us to go watch someone else on TikTok? You know why?
Wrong.
Because you're wrong, and you can't figure out how to fucking explain it. And you think because somebody made sense to you once that it'll make sense to us. And by the way, I know who you're talking about. That guy's a fucking idiot. He is uniquely dumb. And you guys all think he's smart because he's an immigrant and he agrees with what you're saying. He does the same shit you do. He just runs fear tactics. And you know why I can't go in his live? Because he blocked me. Because he doesn't like to. Because he doesn't like to debate.
Probably because I pointed all the bandwidth.
Because I pointed out that he didn't know what capitalism or socialism was. Mr. Cancel Culture got his feelings hurt.
He knows
But what happened
communism
today?
is
What
because
happened
he knows he
today?
doesn't
What
like
happened
it.
today is you got dunked on, and you have a lot of pride, and you're not willing to admit that you're wrong. And I hope, and that's fair enough. Like, it's hard to admit that you're wrong the first time. I get it. I hope you come back again. As I'm running out of time.
In my opinion, it can't be wrong. It's just an
but what you're
opinion.
doing
Not
at the end
everything
of
you
this,
said was right.
but what you're
I mean,
doing
it's
at the end of
opinions.
this is you're just telling us to go to listen to somebody else because you can't provide any answers. And rather than like be just a normal human being and be
Well,
like,
you guys
maybe
are
I
acting
can't,
like you
maybe
know
I
what
can't provide
communism's
answers.
all about. Go
Maybe I
listen to
can't
a
provide
communist.
answers.
Go
Maybe
listen
I
to a
can't provide
communist.
answers. Maybe I can't provide answers because I don't know what I'm talking about. But instead, you had to do. I get it. Pride gets in the way. You can't admit that, so you got to go tell us to watch somebody else, right? I get it. I'll go watch him. He'll teach us. But I hope you come back sometime.
Well, I mean, he is a communist.
He's not. He's not.
Well, he was a communist.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He lived in an
So
oligarchy.
you just think he's a
He clearly didn't listen to the explanation of what communism is
He
because
doesn't even understand the government that he came from. That's how dumb he is. Which you think
He
that
understands he
wait,
didn't
hold
like
on,
it.
hold on. You think that that's crazy that somebody didn't understand the government that they lived under, but
No.
like you just did that for an hour. So it's not that weird. Lots of people live under a government they don't understand. Like you. And like most of the MAGA people, you literally don't understand how our government operates. You don't understand what socialism is, communism. He doesn't know what socialism or communism is, and yet he says he came from a communist country. He doesn't know what he's talking about. You're just giving him credit because he has an accent and he's saying communism bad. I came from
No,
there.
he said it. You didn't listen to what Mr. Listener said. He said, well, he knows he doesn't like it. And because that's what communism is to the people on the right. It means really bad. It means awful. It's an adjective. It's literally a synonym for awful.
means-
That's not what it is.
That's not
just
enough
what
for you?
capitalists. No, you need to think about. Let me just leave you with this because something is wrong in this country, right? We're all being robbed. We're all in the same boat. We're all being robbed by the same exact people, and that's why you should learn what communism is. And why would they want to make it in this country such a bad word, right? Why is it so wrong? You know who Karl Marx is? Right? Do you know what Karl Marx did? He didn't do anything. All he did was point out that capitalism wasn't working. And now just saying his name means it's like you're invoking Satan in this country because he poked holes in capitalism. And so that's why it's important to know these things because the billionaires who are robbing all of us, Mr. Listener, not just us, you too, are very interested in you not understanding what communism is. You not understanding why Marxism is one of the fastest spreading ideologies in the world. Because it's pointing out that they're robbing us all blind.
Okay, one simple question. Under communism, are the people subject to less control or more control?
No control. There's no
It was
government.
almost like he didn't listen.
It's like, yeah, it's like you missed this. This is the funny thing about you and that guy.
So all these people in China
Hold
that
on,
have to
hold
stay
on,
in their
hold on.
apartments
No,
and aren't allowed to leave.
No, please stop. Please stop. Please, for the love of God. Forget everything you just learned and just learn this one thing so you don't sound fucking stupid ever again. You cannot have communism with a government. So if somebody says, I came from a country with a communist government, they didn't.
Okay, so
You
what's China
cannot
What does
have
China
a
have?
government under communism.
All right, I'll take that as golden. So what does China have? What kind of government do they have?
They have a mixed economy like every other country in this world. Nobody
They
has
use socialism to lift people out of poverty very
universal health
successfully.
care, free
Universal
education,
health-
free college.
Exactly. They increase their literacy rates, but unfortunately, they still have an oligarchy at the top, right? President Xi is an authoritarian, arguably a fascist, who awards business contracts and the right to exist in capitalism in China to his friends, right?
So they mixed it all up and none of it works is essentially what you're saying.
No,
No,
self-government
you're
is
not
really the only
listening.
answer.
You don't listen to anything anyone's saying. So no, you
guys
don't want to
just
hear the
said that they
nuance.
were-
You don't want to learn anything. Things are much more nuanced, much more complicated than you make it. You don't understand how the world economy works.
You understand
That's what the
like,
problem
You guys
is.
are the
have a
ones
mix
that
of-
what
just
your
told me
problem
that it
is.
was 3 different forms of government all in one.
It is. So is ours. Our government is a mixed economy. You understand? We're not just like free market capitalism, right? You know, we have social programs. We have programs that we've
Co-ops.
stolen from socialist countries. We all live in mixed economies, dude. Like, this is the thing. Like, again, you've
The
just
answer
been
isn't
told
simple.
that
You
it's
can't
bad.
just be like, oh, communist China, communist Russia. The answers are much more complex than
I don't
you
think there
want
is an
them to
answer.
be.
I just
No,
don't think
because
there
you
is
think
one.
that communism or socialism means awful place. That's the point. In socialism, in communism, in capitalism, corruption can exist, right?
I think
So,
that's
listener,
intrinsically true
no
for everything.
Listen, there is no answer. There never will be, because the world is consistently evolving. We make laws, people find ways around laws. We make economic policy, people find ways around that. We constantly have to be adjusting. And right now we're looking at a tipping point in America where we clearly need to adjust. But because we're so partisan, and because you guys have been so bred to believe that any sort of government help is socialism, and socialism means you lose all your freedom, you guys are just on the path to destruction, and we can't convince you otherwise. You can still be a Republican and advocate for universal health care. You can do it.
I agree.
You can still be a Christian conservative and advocate that we treat people fairly, that we treat the LGBTQ community fairly. You can do all of that. But what you can't do, if you really care about freedom, is just allow us to slide into an oligarchy. And that's what you and your party and people like you are doing. And I know that you think that you're fighting a good fight, and I know that you think you're fighting for freedom, and I believe that you want freedom. But everything you're advocating for will lead to less freedom. Everything. You're unironically advocating for the own death of your freedoms. You just don't know it.
I think both roads do.
No, not both roads. We're talking about you. You're advocating for people and policies that will lead to an oligarchy. Just think about that, man. Think about the tribalism. You know what we're saying is universally true. You agree with it, but you're so scared of liberals and Democrats and socialism, and
because
that
it's the same. Because it's the same destination. It's the same destination.
It's not. No, it's not. It prevents an oligarchy, dude. We're not asking to go to socialism. We're asking to fix the broken parts of our capitalist system so that it's more fair for everybody. That's it. We just want it to be a better system that actually makes sense.
And
that's all we're asking
for. And you fix it through bills. You fix it through bills that have to go through that system that they want to remain in place.
Which is great for us because you guys keep
conflict of interest.
Well, it's good for us that you guys keep putting up Trump because the longer Trump is around, the more progressive Democrats we get in Congress, and the closer we are to fixing this thing. And we'll drag your guys' fucking asses kicking and screaming, and then when it's fixed, you guys will claim that you did it, and that's fine. We're used to that. As Democrats, we're used to fixing all the shit and you guys taking credit for it. But nonetheless, I have a hard cutoff at 1. I got to go see my daughter. You're welcome to come back anytime. I appreciate it.
All right, peace out.
Bye.
Felice.
Do
you have a spa nearby?
If you want to just get some needles and stab them into my eye for the second half of our day, I think that will be great. That will be an improvement.
All right. Well, thank you. Hell of a show outline that we didn't get to. Thank you guys all for hanging out with us today. Thank you for the gifts. You guys were very generous today. Thank you very much.
Bye, guys. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow morning, and maybe in the evening. Sometimes I like to sneak on and see Dougie. If you're watching lives later today, make sure to catch Dougie. We'll see you.